That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to the show where we wax poetic about the movies we see on a month-to-month basis. It's time to crack open our movie memoirs! Oh, God. All right, Dragon. Holy crap. A lot to get to, a lot of stuff. We're going to try and go through it as briskly as we can. So, without further ado, without any delay, Dragon, let's dive right into it with news.
So here's some breaking news that relates to us first.
Okay, breaking news. What do you got?
So for those who may not be aware, we've cracked our goal. We hit the 1K mark. Yay, us! Woo! And so we've hit we've hit the mark, and also we now have super chat capabilities. So if anyone's basically wants to show any appreciation, otherwise they are more than inclined to kind of throw a super chat our way. I mean, we still read questions obviously because we're cool like that, but if you'd like, it basically goes towards stuff like primarily our StreamYard thing, which now basically what we're toying with this month. Unlimited streaming. The training wheels protocol is off, baby. So yeah, we can do more live shows now, and we ideally would like to keep that up. And that's kind of what we've been turning our super chats towards at the moment. We got some other stuff down the pipeline, like some potential Patreons and stuff. I won't say it's set up now, but who knows? We're upward and onward.
We need to have that meeting, but
yes, up.
All right.
Yeah.
So Dragon, I also have just one bit of breaking news. This was the thing I was kind of hinting at earlier. So, did you know that Chronicle 2 is in development?
Really?
Don't get too excited.
Well, that's just great.
Pretty much nobody involved in the original is involved in this one, like from a production or an acting point of view. And the basic premise is just like, hey, what if they're the original, but girls?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so, Dragon, look, I'm not going to say, there's no hope for it, because Chronicle, just by its own right, I really do think it's one of the most fresh and original franchises that we've had in quite some time. But I don't know. I really wish that, I really hope that at the very least we get some sort of connective tissue between the two. I really, really want to see something. Oh, okay. I really want to see something that, something that relates to the, like some characters kind of crossing over. Anyways, Dragon, without further delay, let's get into the actual news.
Yes, of course, the way we usually like to do our news breakdowns, we go from the worst news to the best or the most exciting news.
Indeed. All right, so of course we start things off with the in memoriams every month. So Dragon, get started with the first one.
Yeah, we lost two people of note in our circles this month. We lost the great Jackie Mason. Jackie Mason, he was kind of an iconic Jewish comedian. From mainly the 70s was really his big. The 70s and the 80s were like his big era. But he had popped up in a lot of things. Particularly one thing majorly for you. For me, I always love him as Mr. Hartunian from The Jerk, where Steve Martin goes to work at like the gas station. That's his boss, and he's really like, he has like this great thing where he says like, "Well, he said he sent me a postcard. He sent me a postcard. What do you know?" It's like, good old Jackie Mason. But you, Tiki, big fella, you know him as a certain rabbi from The Simpsons.
Oh.
Yes, that is Krusty's father. At least when they could get the actor for Krusty's father. In most cases, it was Jackie Mason. That is Rabbi. What is it, Krusty?
You know what's interesting about that is that in spite of him being a big comedian, that is like easily one of the like Simpsons guest characters with the most pathos behind him. Man, like I remember those episodes being super sad.
I think I only saw one episode with this character in it. So if I recall, as Krusty's estranged father, who is a rabbi, who's very disappointed in the life path of his son. Am I right at all?
Correct.
ago. And also, I know him very brief role as the Sandman in the Fairly Odd Parents. They have like a Sandman episode, and it was Jackie Mason. So yeah, good old Mason. Yeah, he was basically, again, he was known for just having that iconic voice. That was really his whole shtick, where he just had like a really great delivery on things. Like you always kind of remember him for that. For that, I saw. Here's the thing: check out The Jerk at some point. You never saw that, right?
No, I know. Yeah, that's a blank spot on my resume.
Really funny, Tiki. It's just so delightfully funny. Anyway, so here's something we both mutually, most assuredly, we lost a voice actress as well this month. This one really hurt, man.
Claude Krugger points it out. And yeah, it does hurt. It really does. Of course, Dragon, we had the opportunity to talk very briefly, but for a solid 20 minutes to John R. Dilworth on the podcast years ago. That's still up if you want to. I would just search John R. Dilworth on our channel, and it should still be up. But yeah, Dragon, this one, Muriel is one of the kindest cartoon characters of our era, and so this absolutely feels like kind of like the universal loss of a grandmother for 90s.
For sure. Kids. Oh, yeah.
All right. Honeybee, yeah, it's we're going to talk about all the movies from July, so if you're interested to hear our thoughts on all the movies, for sure, stay tuned. And we're also going to talk about a lot of news and TV, so stay tuned. You're more than welcome. Anyways, so yeah, what's next, Dragon?
Oh, so
you have any thoughts on Muriel? I'm sure you do.
Yes, I mean, Muriel obviously was very much the heart of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that, again, obviously very much the frustration of many kids. Muriel, look behind you! Or that sort of thing is very much like, come on, man! But seriously, Muriel was always like the heart of like just the opening itself, even without her saying a word. It's like, taken in by a Muriel bag, it's like taken in this shaken courage alone. The ending of Courage the Cowardly Dog, when we go back to the beginning with the origin episode, Muriel finding courage, I think probably her finest moment in that role, unequivocally. Just when we basically link up to that moment from the opening of every episode, we just get to see it play out at the very end of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Seriously, it's such a tear. It brings a tear to the eye. Beautiful moment.
Sure.
And also, hey, here's something. Claudia says, at least she got to voice Muriel one more time for Courage and Scooby-Doo, the crossover movie.
Oh, that's nice.
I did not know that. So yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, she would be in that. They would have gotten her for that. So that's there's a silver line for you, Claudia. You got one more take of good old Thea White as Muriel. All right.
Man.
That is nice. Okay, so that's the in memoriam section. We're gonna move from death to near death. So
this one scared me.
I was terrified. Tiki and I, as you know, we are huge, giant fans of Better Call Saul, and of course Bob Odenkirk, who is the lead in Better Call Saul. The great Saul.
Bob Odenkirk is probably like on our Mount Rushmore of people we've like talked about and like held up on a pedestal the most on this podcast.
Odenkirk, we worship the altar of Odenkirk, not as much as the altar of Farmiga, but it's like that's like right.
I don't know. It's pretty close at this point, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
because Farmiga kind of she's been on hiatus for a while.
Yeah, Jimmy McGill's kind of he's our Job. We love him the pieces. He goes through a lot, but we love him. Mm-hmm. But seriously, so we love Bob Odenkirk any way, shape, or form we can get him, but particularly Better Call Saul for all the work he's done there. So of course. Recently we had Nobody, which I had a great time with, and I rewatched like crazy. I think I have a great time with it. Anyway, so
I need to rewatch it. I've only seen it the once.
So they've been shooting the 6th season of Better Call Saul. I think they're like towards the end of their shoot, if I recall, because they've been able to shoot like for the past like couple months or so, at least 2, maybe 3. And like Tom Schnauz like posted like an update, like had all the episodes, cards, and envelopes. And he's being all cheeky about it, really adorable.
Oh God! Oh, they probably know the fucking episode titles. Oh God!
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Dragon.
As I'm saying, like numbers on envelopes with all the cards in there. So like all the cards that they pin up on the board.
I'm sorry, I don't want to take away from the gravity of the situation, but
so anyway, so like Tom Schnauz is saying that one day, and like a day or 2 later, I get this horrible news that Odenkirk collapsed on the set. And it was like Tiki, so rarely have we ever been on the ground floor when something like this happens, where it's like we heard Odenkirk is down and we don't know what happened.
You know what this reminded me of, Dragon? It reminded me of Schnepp.
John Schnepp?
Yeah, because I was on the ground floor for that. Like I saw that go down in real time, from the reports that he had been hospitalized. So, like the moment when it hit me that it could be a Schnepp situation was the next day when we basically hadn't heard anything, and I heard John Campia say on his podcast basically like almost half-heartedly like, well, maybe no news is good news, and I was
Oh
like,
God.
oh God.
See, for me, what I thought happened, that was already gobs like, oh no, he's collapsed on the set, which again is so bitterly ironic given how one of the seasons of Better Call Saul
I know,
starts,
right?
Eugene. Which, oh my God. But no, it was, I thought there was a regular thing that happens on the set of Better Call Saul when you're shooting in Albuquerque is, it's heat exhaustion, there's
That's what I figured
dehydration.
it was.
I
Yeah.
assume I was hoping, okay, well, usually it's that, which means he'll be fine. But then I'm hearing like, like a day goes by and everyone's like really got thoughts and prayers from everyone going out from Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, you name it, everyone on the, in the Albuquerque verse, and it's like, oh no, and then they're saying it was a heart related issue, and so now we've confirmed it was a small heart attack that Odenkirk suffered. My theory is that I think he pushed because he had never been like a trained action star until 2 years ago for nobody. I think it. I don't. I'm not. I think he might have pushed himself and then getting back into the swing of things with the atmosphere of Albuquerque, with like the heat and everything. I don't know. I think something may have. I think that might have been a contributing factor, but I have no idea. The important thing is that he's okay. He seems to be a recover again. They're emphasizing the smallness of the heart related event. Hopefully, things will
Mm-hmm.
improve, kind of like a Kevin Smith sort of thing. Like we'll be on the mend and everything will be good. So fingers crossed that he has a really nice and speedy recovery. I wonder how much it will impact production. Not that that's the key thing here, because I mean, everything else is delayed. If they need a
I don't
couple,
think it's going to impact production that much because
yeah,
they've got a lot of other, there's a lot of other characters they could be shooting. Keep in mind there's a whole Lalo and Nacho storyline that is probably going to pick up a good portion of the season on its own, So I'm really not too worried about it. And obviously, like you said, that's probably the least thing we should be worried about given the
right.
situation.
I would like to think they would shoot the endings first anyway, with the Kirkyverse when they do their seasons. Or at least often they would. Anyway,
And I mean, honestly, when it comes to Better Call Saul Dragon, at this point, it's like with the pandemic, we've waited over a year. So I'm just like, what's a couple more months if we have to wait a couple more months, honestly. So
certainly. And yeah, as long as it gets done, it gets done right. It's the last season. I don't care how long it waits, so long as it actually gets done. I mean, I'm just hope nothing else bad happens. Is all.
all right, so we got Super Billy in the chat. He said, "What's up, fellas? Multitasking at the moment on Discord, watching both your stream and Cap stream simultaneously." Well, Super Billy, we appreciate your divided attention. It's honestly an honor to be competing with Cap for viewership because, it's suffice to say, Cap is definitely someone that we've sort of built the channel model around. All right, and then also Dragon is the ScarJo thing. The next thing we can cover.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, Claude Karinga, he's got the coverage. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus and breaking her contract. And Emma Stone, and along with Emily Blunt as well, they're
Really?
yeah, all of them. So Dragon, this situation fills me with dread and anxiety, and I like. Don't get me wrong. I think that ScarJo is in the right, and I'm proud of her. And I am definitely having a go ScarJo kind of moment. But at the same time, this could be a house of cards, like not a house of cards, but like this could send the cards tumbling down for Disney, man. Like I don't know. This could be a big blow for them, honestly.
Yeah. So look. All I know is pretty much what Claudia is just going to put there in the comments. That's pretty much all I've heard. I can't really go into the specifics if there are any anything publicly available as far as like how the case is going and everything.
Dragon,
but
let's just say there's so much going on. We could devote a full podcast to it if we needed to, but we don't have the time. So those that's the elevator pitch.
Exactly. So just the streamline, just the important part is like for me, just from what I know, from the little that I know, it sounds like to an extent there's kind of quibbling over money on both sides, which I think the whole thing is It's unfortunate. I am sympathetic to Scarlett Johansson.
So
certainly,
Dragon,
because,
Dragon.
yes,
In other words, we've got to have money.
yes.
Okay, sorry.
Only a
I
little
saw
more
the
high pitched, like,
opportunity and
we've
I
got to
took
have money. Oh.
it. All right.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm sympathetic to Scarlett Johansson because there's always been kind of a discrepancy in the MCU salaries, unless you're Downey Jr., who gets like a large portion of the take. Which
Totally.
even
Yeah,
even if
definitely.
even if by some chance she actually got that sort of deal here, I mean, just given the performance and everything, and from what I understand, and this is the thing I can't really have confirmed, is that I don't think she got any of the premium access money, which I think is a big thing that's kind of sticking in the crawl here. I mean, Feige's on her side, and it's really outside of one thing I'm always iffy with Feige on these days about like him turning on the TV shows, but I won't get into that here. I'm always in Feige's camp, so I think she's in the right. But then just give it some first world, kind of third world versus the first world here. It's still, she got 20 million for the role. She got 20 million for the movie, though. Okay, so there's a part of me that goes like, "Come on, man, suck it up a little. 20 million's nothing to sneeze at."
And then, like, honestly, in the case of like people like Emily Blunt and Emma Stone, Cruella actually did pretty damn well in spite of the digital release. Like, honestly, that movie did about as well as it could have given the circumstances. It was a relatively decent hit. And then, and as for the Jungle Cruise, like the Jungle Cruise is only in its first week. For all we know, it could be a movie that has a lot of legs. It's a family movie. Family movies tend to do well during these times.
With the other actresses involved, I'm really interested to see how it's going to go on that front, because Scarlett Johansson, she can be fearless because she's done as Black Widow. She hasn't anything to fear at all. So
I think that with ScarJo, it's a little bit more justified because I think there were other factors with Black Widow. Like, honestly, like, I really do think they made a mistake with Black Widow in terms of, like, Cruella and Jungle Cruise both kind of feel more justified as far as, like, they don't necessarily need to be seen in theaters, right? Like, you and I both watched it on Disney Plus, and
yes,
we saw them just fine. But I saw Cruella's, and well, no. I'm not going to call people that avoid movie theaters a coward, honeybee. I'm not going to go there. But anyways, because honestly, I'm kind of leaning that direction myself, Dragon. I'm gonna see Free Guy, but I'm having a little bit of anxiety about it.
Nothing's gonna stop me from seeing Free Guy. I mean, I'll walk in there with a hazmat suit if I have to. I gotta see Free Guy.
Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I just think with Black Widow, the fact that it was delayed so long, the fact that it really shouldn't have come out, like it should have come out like 2 years. Yeah, I know you're messing around, honeybee. I'm just saying.
But I'm saying though, Emma Stone though, there's the fact that again, there's like talk of that Cruella sequel, and if she's gonna stir up some stuff, I don't think Disney would be inclined to have her back. That's what has me interested. Like,
yeah.
See, that's the thing.
All I know, Cruella was a success. I mean, Cruella's also like looking to get a lot of Oscar attention, at least from the from the costume and production design front. So it's like Cruella, by all intents and purposes, is one of the more successful of the Disney live action remakes. I really don't get why anyone is stirring the pot about that movie at all.
Yeah, Claudia points this out. This is not great news, but just to kind of shout out briefly, Claudia says Moana the series has been delayed to 2024. And additionally, from what I hear by you and this other place, Tiki, is that Ms. Marvel has also been delayed to next year.
Yes, Ms. Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because our boys in that.
Yeah, you know what though? Like Ms. Marvel, yeah, I'm sad because Sagar, yeah, sure, I definitely want to see him, but you know what? The MCU slate needs some room to breathe, Dragon. Honestly, it was getting super overcrowded. Something had to give there.
Right. Well, so long as we get Hawkeye next, that's cool. After what?
Hawkeye is the release date for Hawkeye is confirmed. So yeah, we're definitely
November. Yeah, Hawkeye's November.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see. So, moving. What?
Hold on, Claude's got a couple like interesting pieces of news. We'll just kind of touch on. There's a new Walt Disney Animation Studio located in Vancouver, which is honestly that's super intriguing.
Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And let's see. It also was announced today that season 2 of the Animaniacs reboot will be coming.
Yes, I saw that news. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. I wasn't super high on the Animaniacs reboot, but I'm definitely willing to give it a second season, see what they can do. Yeah. All right. Anyways,
All right. Okay. So that brings us to Clerks 3. So this month was also Kevin Smith's birthday. And, well, I'm sorry, the top of August is Kevin Smith's birthday. But before that, he announced that Clerks 3 is shooting in August while he's celebrating his birthday in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. Of course, Jeff Anderson was the big holdout, so I'm
Yeah.
really excited that they got him.
Yeah, you know it's really
I still
cool
think
that
the Randall shade is some of the funniest stuff in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
yeah, it is. So yeah, they're saying Clerks is going to have a lot of kind of the reboot kind of kind of heart in it, which really does excite me. Which again, I liked how we parallel Kevin Smith's real life in these recent kind of film endeavors, particularly like reboot and seemingly what Clerks 3 is going to be. So that's cool. And yeah, I think it's really neat that if you look at the Clerks franchise, like each movie has like an over 10-year period between movies. I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Go from 94 to 06.
It's kind of like the R-rated Toy Story.
In a sense, yeah. All right. Okay, let's see. So then, real quick, you have some news about your boy.
My boy or my boys?
No, your boy, singular.
Oh, singular. Okay. I have the news about my boy, and then I have news about my boys. All right.
I had news about my boy with Kevin Smith, and I got your boy.
Oh, God. All right, so Stuckman. Dude, I'm sure anyone who's been following Chris Stuckman knows this by now, but just to reiterate, I am so damn happy for Chris Stuckman. Dragon, I want to emphasize, this is a watershed moment for YouTube creators. A watershed moment. He is attached to a major production. This isn't just some like I don't know exactly how this isn't just going to be some some personal thing that he's putting together. Like, he's got money behind this. He's got there's professional people behind this. So Dragon, I don't want to bore you with too many details about the movie, but suffice to say, it's a very interesting internet urban legend. It's about a group of early YouTubers who were ghost hunters who went missing in 2008. And Dragon, there's some ARG material related to it that's really, really interesting. It very much gives off a Blair Witch vibe, and Stuckman's a big fan of the Blair Witch. You know me, I'm also a big fan of the Blair Witch. Honest to God, Dragon, Stuckman is probably my go-to guy when it comes to my opinions on film. Pretty much aligning with him. I mean, I think Jeremy Johns is a little bit more attached to blockbusters than I am, but Stuckman, man, me and Stuckman just completely align. So I'm stoked for this on a conceptual level, and I'm even more stoked for it on a personal level, because honestly, it's kind of like a hang on to your dreams, you can make it sort of moment for creators everywhere. And honestly, it's truly inspirational. So if you haven't watched his video on it, Dragon, you should, because it's a great pick-me-up. All right. And on the other side of the coin, successful people getting even more successful to the point where it kind of gives me a headache. 14. And Dragon, I have heard conflicting reports, because honestly, from pretty much everywhere else besides you, I've been hearing that it's exclusively South Park movies.
I mean, that's fair. I'm saying what I read, it just said 14 picture deal, did not specify South Park, but I don't know. I don't really care that much, so I didn't really look into it.
I know you don't care that much.
So I don't know. This sounds more believable than 14 South Park movies, but by all means.
I don't know. All I can say to the South Park thing is that, last season, South Park was literally trying to cancel itself. They would be posting, hashtag cancel South Park at the end of every episode. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are obviously done with it. At this point, it just, in Dragon, not only this, but it's, I think it's, 6 more seasons of the show, too. I'm done with South Park at this point, Dragon. I am done with South Park. I really hope that in the I will check out the first couple movies, just because I do think the South Park movie is honestly one of the best non-Disney animated musicals ever, bar none. But Yeah, you know, it's like I am not interested in watching 14 South Park movies. I am not interested in watching 6 more South Park seasons. I am very interested in whatever sort of original stuff Matt and Trey have up their sleeve. You know, it's like give me something like Team America, give me a Book of Mormon movie, you know, something like that. I'd be very interested in that. But yeah, 14 South Park movies all I don't know. It sounds like a lot, man. It sounds like the equivalent of eating one of those ridiculously oversized Hershey bars. Anyways. Okay. So what's next, Dragon?
Okay, so Michael B. Jordan. It was announced by HBO Max that Michael B. Jordan is developing a Val Zod series for them. Now, a while back, we talked about the whole. At least briefly, we talked. So we talked a while ago. We talked about the big hubbub about everyone was making a big stink about this Abrams and Tanahashi Coates Superman movie, which basically seems like they're going to be doing a black Superman. Now, it was unconfirmed whether it's going to be Clark Kent or not. And that's the thing. One of the posited Supermans it could have been Val Zod. So this is not that. This is an additional project. This is a series, not a movie. So that whole thing is still up in the air. What the heck they're going to do with that, and how if it's going to rub anyone the wrong way or not, or all that. But there is a character who essentially is a black Kryptonian, an existing character from an Elseworld story, like he's like from Earth 2, named Val Zod. And I know nothing about this character truly. I just know he's kind of interesting, and apparently it's not. From what I understand, very little I know about him is that he is not actually related to General Zod. But it's kind of like it's like a coincidence or something there. I don't know if they're going to change that or not, given how some interpretations have made Zod black. I don't know. But Michael B. Jordan involved in the Superman project, which presumably he will play in this show as well as developing it himself. Sounds good. People have been wanting to hear of wanting to explore this character by proxy of Michael B. Jordan. So it seems like a win. It seems like it'd be good. It seems like it could be in good hands. If they're going to explore some stuff on HBO Max, I'd be interested to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's a good kind of olive branch. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see. So casting, we got gobs of casting, which is kind of umbrella here. Something that is pretty much all but confirmed because Rosario Dawson, who we know for a fact is going to be in that Ahsoka show, she is. So. Yeah, she basically people threw out like, what if they there was a rumor put out about who would be playing Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn, who are from the Rebel show, which basically adult Ahsoka factors into, which pretty much is where we're going to pick up with in the Ahsoka post-Mando show. Now, anyway, so the point being, she confirmed pretty much who the rumored people are. Now, here are the rumored people, Tiki. Now, you know them. You know one of them, and you know the relative of the other one.
Okay.
Okay, so Ezra. Ezra is played by, I'm going to butcher his name.
I can say the name.
Oh, hit me with it.
Mazid Mazuz.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Yes, and I got to tell you, looking at Ezra, I got to tell you, I can absolutely see it with that guy. And again, I'm not crazy.
Oh, totally. And honestly, Dragon, he was one of the bright spots of the Aladdin remake. Like, he really captured that character.
And Ezra does have a little bit of Aladdin in him too, which kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that kind of fits. Again, I'm not caught up on Rebels, which pretty much you can imagine when this Ahsoka show happens, I'm absolutely going to be caught up on Rebels before it. So
right.
But yeah, because I'm all caught up on Clone Wars and everything for the Bad Batch and such. So anyway, meanwhile, so Thrawn, this is the really exciting thing, though. Okay, so Thrawn is going to be played by Lars Mikkelsen. So I don't know how he relates to Mad.
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yes, Lars Mikkelsen. Now, right. Lars Mikkelsen, I believe, I'm going to guess, is Mads Mikkelsen's brother. Mm-hmm. I believe so. The point being, so Lars Mikkelsen, I know him best from House of Cards. He played the Putin villain, like the Russian president in House of Cards. So that's the big thing I know him from in live action. But here's the cool thing: he played this character in animation. He voiced Thrawn in the show. So they're going to make him Thrawn in live action. That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that's a win-win, man.
Very
that's
much awesome. The same thing happens with Hondo.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that'd be like a dub thing in there. That, or we'd have to really get Jim Cummings in shape. But I'm down for it either way.
Well, no, I'm saying more of a dub thing, but
yeah, I mean, I want the dub thing personally. But if he can pull it, that's a good idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so a big win for me on the side here. At HBO Max related news, this Batgirl, they keep going back and forth if it's going to be a show or if it's going to be a movie. I think they settled on movie. The Batgirl movie is going to feature Commissioner Gordon, her father in it, and that Commissioner Gordon is going to be played by J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, and also Batgirl herself is going to be played by an In the Heights alum.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the who exactly, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know the name off the top of my head because I want to just push that movie as far out of my brain as possible because it was such a disappointment. But
all right. Okay, and lastly, Tom Hanks is going to be in one of your favorite film franchises, in quotes.
It's not a franchise. Well, it's kind of.
That's why I said in quotes.
I mean, basically, what he's doing, Dragon, is he's joining an acting troupe.
Yeah, there you go. So Tom Hanks is going to be in a Wes Anderson movie coming up,
which I'm very excited about, just because, like, of course, Tom Hanks is sort of assembled. He's obviously a huge iconic actor, no doubt. Obviously, we have a whole month named after him, or a whole holiday. True. I mean,
yes, Thanksgiving. The only Thanksgiving I care about.
But Wes Anderson, man, he's never worked with the guy, and he's worked with pretty much everyone else in Hollywood, and Wes Anderson is one of my favorite filmmakers, so yeah, match made in heaven.
Yep, and also Honeybee says, we love you, J.K. Simmons. We do love you, J.K. Simmons. I love him. Plus, he's playing my favorite character. He's playing Commissioner Gordon. I mean, again, which he already done. Again, we got a taste of him as Gordon, which was amazing.
We got a Baskin-Robbins sample of his character.
Did. But it was excellent, though. There's just him on the rooftop, with the white hair and everything, and he was just the little that we got was absolutely on brand for Gordon.
It was.
Anyway, the point being, short of getting Bryan Cranston playing Gordon is the best I'm going to get, so let me have this. Okay. All right, so there's some excellent casting news, followed by trailers. A little quick grab bag of trailers. So we had 3 trailers of note for us. One was Dexter: New Blood. Now we've seen some teasers, but this is a kind of a more of a trailer. Pretty much nothing we didn't know already, but we did get the glimpse like Clancy Brown, who's going to be our bad guy this season.
No, honestly, though, Dragon, the best part of this trailer was it just felt like such a return to form. Just the feel of it, it's just like it felt like seeing an old friend again after years.
Yeah, I just love that we're dealing with like the dark passenger temptation. We know about Dexter at this point. The world knows Dexter, so it's the anticipation of like, oh boy, when will it return? It's like, geez, he's Jim Lindsay. Now, I love this Jim Lindsay thing, by the way, because it's a beautiful little nod to the book author, whose name is Jeff Lindsay, so it's really cute. Anyway, so I love the knife salesman thing. I love that so much. The fact that he's a knife salesman, it's hilarious. Anyway, so that's pretty much all we got. Like the cool atmosphere and like the blood spatter and the snow. The fact that Dexter's in a snow.
Dragon. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch a second trailer because that just whet my appetite.
I'm just really hooked on the idea of Dexter in the complete opposite climate that he is so used to. Like,
I've never seen
Dexter in the snow.
I mean, I joke about like, oh, it's just going to be a whole season of lumberjacks, but honestly, that's like not lumberjacks, but the setting is selling me.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's a really cool idea. And again, I think he looks good after what, at least 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So then we have the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. Yes, Claude.
Yeah, so Dragon, as you know, I've never been a big Ghostbusters fan. I just kind of feel like it's something that I missed the boat on. I never watched it as a kid, so I don't really have nostalgia for it. And when I watch it now, I'm like, every time I watch it, I'm always kind of just like, yeah, it's really good. Like, it doesn't rock my world. It's not like one of my favorite movies of all time. And I know it's like a religion for a lot of people. So, it's kind of like The Big Lebowski for me, or certain movies like that where it's like, I get it, but I don't get it. But Dragon, this trailer, nonetheless, I'm hooked on it, man. I really, really like what they're doing with the advertising.
Yeah. I love that we have Paul Rudd in this movie. I really hope he gets a chance to suit up. I mean, I don't know if that's a certainty, but that'd be
Oh,
really
come
cool.
on, come on. They're not going to have Paul Rudd in there and have him be a Ghostbusters fanboy. No, he's got to suit up.
I want him to suit up. So that's the thing. The tone, there's a really special tone with the legacy factor they've applied to this.
Dragon has got an ET tone for me, and that's what's exciting.
My heart melted when Annie Potts came back as Janine in the trailer. Oh my god, the fact that she and Egon, they had kind of like an on again, off again sort of thing. So the fact that like she kind of really had she might have had a personal thing with Egon's, like informing his grandkids about, oh, your grandfather was, this and that. So it's really cute. The video of the Ghostbusters. This is like I just love this is like the response proper to like the fandom of Ghostbusters. I'm not really I can't call myself a card carry member of that fandom, but
yeah,
the fact that I've seen documentaries on these ghost heads and everything, people adore the Ghostbusters, and this was less of a kind of a slap in the face of the 2016 Ghostbusters. This is like the actual reverence that they were waiting for, and the bit with Aykroyd at the end, man. That's like, oh my god, like we're close. Like, yeah.
Dragon, the funny thing about Aykroyd is that he's become such an eccentric, like, off-the-wall personality for me lately with the Crystal Skull vodka and everything like that. That it's just like, I honestly sort of forgot he was an actor. I know that sounds silly, but to me, he's more of just, like, a weird personality. So to see him back in a movie, I'm like, oh, yeah!
And let's see, Honeybee says, really, it's a new legacy.
That's clever. That's clever.
All right, so lastly, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We got a proper trailer this time.
Dragon, I gotta tell you, with the Venom movies, just in general, the one thing that I really wish for is that they would take them a little bit more seriously.
Yes, but I would argue this one seems to be taking it more seriously than the first one.
It's still got a definitive kind of like edgelord tone to it, though, which I mean, look, maybe I've just like outgrown the Venom character. That could very well be the case, because I think Venom as a character was probably made for edgelord teenagers.
Well, Venom was absolutely a gimmick character, Tiki, but it's a gimmick character that is linked to a really good idea with the symbiote. That's the thing that saves him.
But I will say, it's like, make no mistake, I'm excited for Carnage. Woody Harrelson, I've kind of been on
that's what I'm most
Woody
excited
Harrelson kick lately.
That's what I'm most excited for, because just looking at this trailer particularly, people for years wanted him to play Carnage, and the fact that we actually got him, he's in a proper hair, he has proper hair this time, and
Thank God.
Like he's perfect. He's creepy. He just sounds like Cletus Cassidy. He just sounds perfect for it. And of course, the bite. Here's my favorite part: the bite. It's like, how the heck are we going to do the whole blood change this time? He just bites somebody. Yeah. Like, I'm sold. Yes, that's how he gets it. I buy it. Serial killer, you get too close, he's going to bite you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the better look at things. We seem to have some growing pains with Venom and Eddie, and yeah, it's the Carnage seems to be legitimately scary in the trailer, which is what you want. And of course, we said that great gag with, "Oh crap, it's a red one." just Venom panicking. It's a red one. We got to get out of here. And there's a church fight. I don't know. My foray in the comics was Maximum Carnage. It was my first comic ever. So I've always
nice.
It was one of the issues from Maximum Carnage. Yeah, oddly, if I recall, oddly with Captain America on the cover, I believe. I'm not sure, but yeah, so I've always had like kind of a soft spot for the Carnage Venom story. So I'm already in pure because they actually give Venom a proper villain this time versus that weak sauce we had in the first movie. So they can't really do anything wrong compared to that first movie. I don't think.
Right.
So anything's an improvement just compared to the first one, and so long as we have the Venom being the best part of the movie, like last time, we have Carnage, which is a proper send up. So we'll see. I'm rooting for it, but the fact that we don't have Ruben Fleischer now that we have the whole gang together is kind of what saddens me. But Andy Serkis, he's no slouch. We'll see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's
Andy Serkis directing. That honestly almost makes me more excited.
Yeah, he's directing this. Yeah.
All right.
Out of the news, on to the television. Let's flip it on. Switch me on, man.
Okay. So let's see. We got a lot to get through.
Yes.
Loki season. Oh God, do we really have to talk about Loki season one again?
Just a quick summation, Tiki.
Quick summation. I like it a lot. It's like probably my favorite MCU show up until the last episode. I didn't like the last episode at all. I'm sick of arguing about why I don't like Kang.
No one's arguing with you. It's okay. All right, so yeah, I think Loki season one, another success for the Disney Plus MCU shows. Strong character piece for Loki, for sure. Owen Wilson's great. Leaves you wanting a resolution with season 2 or a Doctor Strange
Perhaps
multiverse
to a fault.
Yeah, fair point. Yes. Each episode's very different. That's a really cool thing when you look back on the show. I love how each episode's very different, very much leads into the next. I know it's kind of like, that's what shows are supposed to do, but it was really good and stylistic. I liked it. It just takes I just like how we take a Loki on a wild, humbling ride by way of the TV. That's kind of a simple kind of sell the show for me. I think that's where the fun is to be had. Very kind of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and toners. It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
Okay. So that brings us to, so let me start us off some sad news. So Good Girls season 4. So this unfortunately has been preempted, sadly. As in, they wanted to do a season 5. They were not allowed to do a season 5 because NBC hates their shows, apparently. Curse you, NBC, canceling all my shows. This and Manifest. Why? They have endings in mind. Let them do the endings.
Yeah, that's really annoying. That's an annoying pattern.
Yeah. Of course, Netflix so far seems to be refusing to save it. They seem to be rethinking the Manifest thing because Manifest's numbers are tremendous on Netflix, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
So again, sadly canceled before the proper finale. But seriously, Tiki, I cannot recommend this show enough to you. And soon, once they add season 4, it's all going to be on Netflix. So it's a great show. Season 4 puts the girls through their paces big time. Each season presents a new difficulty for them. They go up the food chain this season. They get to see who's behind the big enterprise. They kind of, they unluckily kind of found themselves involved in since the first season. So we get to see who's at the top of the money laundering operation. The FBI's involved this season. Like now they're breathing down their necks. Like the girls have nowhere to go. Like they are up a creek majorly this season. And we have there's like a cult subplot that's kind of for the basically it's like a cult of moisturizer selling dads. Which is really funny. Like all sorts,
honestly sounds funny.
Like skin creams and moisturizers and everything.
That sounds like a clever twist on like the Avon lady cliche.
Exactly. So that's what we do here. So that's what they did. They inverse. So Breckin Meyer's kind of the guy who leads that cult. So
okay. You know what? That sells me more than anything else I've heard about this show.
And so Matthew Lillard, of course, he's been in it since the beginning as
God, I need to check this out.
I keep telling you, it's basically the mom equivalent of Breaking Bad, Tiki. It's really good.
I know. Okay, you've sold me.
And I will say this: the finale is solid. There are some hanging chads because, again, no 5th season. But I'm really gonna miss it, man. Even at 4 seasons, it delivers a really compelling story. And again, there's an ending. It's more bittersweet, but it's an ending for sure. It's almost like the Bates Motel thing that it could have ended. It's an ending that I think kind of ties things up. You kind of want.
I mean, honestly, Dragon, there's an argument to be made that the ending of Bates Motel season 4 would have been a better ending than the ending we got.
That's the thing too. I hesitate to use the Bates Motel comparison.
The ending we got, but
I hesitate to use the Bates Motel comparison because you're absolutely right. Because 4 is a really maybe throw out my Bates Motel comparison, but the 4 it does have a good ending, even if it is preempted.
The ending of 4 is the Christmas scene, right?
I know it is. It is. It's
perfect. That'd be honestly. I kind of wish that was the ending. Honestly,
I love both.
Not gonna lie,
I love the ending to both seasons, but 4 just is so impactful and perfect, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point being, seriously, Tiki, watch Good Girls, man.
Okay, all right. I will, Dragon. I'll try and find time for it.
It's bingeable as all get out, and there are no commercials on Netflix. All right.
Breaking news. Okay, so behind the attraction, God, I feel like such a snob with this show, Dragon. I really do. I feel like
you watch Collider.
It's fine. It's good. Like, I don't think it's even in the same league as the Imagineering story. I don't really think it's trying to be. I think it's
tomato. sorry, it's like apples and oranges, Tiki. You really can't compare the two.
I know, I know. Um, I mean, look, there's interesting facts in there. There's definitely a couple things here and there that were new to me that I actually didn't know about, like how they went door to door looking for trees to plant in the Jungle Cruise jungle. Like I honestly assume most of the Jungle Cruise jungle was orange trees. So there's some good nuggets of information. Dragon, with all due respect to Della Duck, I cannot stand the narration, and it's all in the writing, man.
See, Paget Brewster shedding a single tear right now.
It's all in the writing. It has nothing to do with her. It has nothing to do with her. Like, honestly, if she was a narrator and it was a little bit more, informative and a little bit less punny, it's a fact that we literally have to make a joke out of practically everything, Dragon. It really bothers me after a while. It really becomes draining.
Well, look, so clearly this was made by the folks that do the toys that made us, and basically the blanks that made us.
And you know what? I will continue to watch the toys that made us, but I just don't watch the movies that made us, just for this very reason.
Well, I mean, personally, me, I like that format, and I really enjoyed Behind the Attraction. I mean, I thought it was informative and a fun look back at the attractions that we kind of gleamed in the Imagineering. I don't want to say we did a serious delve into with the Imagineering story. And here we're doing a little bit more of like, okay, let's dedicate a little bit more time to these and kind of
Dragon, I love the format, but I just wish the tone was more similar to the Imagineering story.
Well, yeah, and again, it's sure, it's just again, it's not that show though. It's not that, it's not that.
I mean, I get that. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. It's just not my taste of humor, I guess.
Just a quick rapid fire. Jungle Cruise, of course, Dwayne Johnson produced this, so of course we're going to cover the Jungle Cruise. Haunted Mansion, very much, the whole Walt Disney's unfinished masterpiece of it all gets covered. I think that was a nice kind of way to frame it, kind of like the last bit of Walt magic to kind of see, like, are we going to end up on the more comedic side or going to end up more on the scary side? My favorite episode of the bunch, Star Tours, unequivocally. I love that attraction. I loved getting the whole story, the whole lowdown on that. That was great. Yeah. Of course, with Tower of Terror and Space Mountain, it speaks for itself. Okay, so just the transition. Okay, so talking about something inspired by the Made Us series, the movies that made us, season 2.
Yeah. Dragon, can you hear that dog barking?
Yeah.
I don't want to close the window.
Well, it's just a dog, Tiki. I mean,
all right. I'm sorry about that, folks. Now I'm going to be so. It's not even my dog. It's the neighbor's dog.
Don't worry. We'll call Old Yeller later. So.
Oh God! Oh Jesus! No, I don't want to go that dark with it. No.
Well, that's what you get for saying they're bring up the dog problem right now. Okay, so. The movies that made us, season 2. So this is a nice evolution of the toys and the holiday movies that made us. I've been liking kind of this movie series because, again, as I said, I like the format, but But so the ones we explore here, we explore Back to the Future, which what we really key in on is like the Eric Stoltz and the the Crispin Glover of it all, which I thought was really cool. Like given the whole Eric Stoltz matter, like some really good coverage, which we kind of cover in the behind the scenes stuff that actually give like kind of a real through line for the episodes. Really cool, just to kind of show you how you need the right people in these movies. You're actually gonna have like that 11th hour. We got to recast them kind of realization. Pretty Woman, which I've been reacquainted with a year or so back. This one had a really great thing where they talk about like there was an original, really dark, really bittersweet ending that they kind of had like as a really great kind of through line there. They covered Jurassic Park from the effects man's perspective, which was really cool, like the unsung hero behind the CG dinosaurs that saved the day on Jurassic Park. That was really cool. And then one of your favorites, Forrest Gump.
Oh God! Don't even joke about that.
which I found really informative. Like here's something I completely forgot about if I didn't know at all. It was that the kid who plays young Forrest Gump actually informed Tom Hanks's performance, which I thought was, oh my God, that's really cool. Like that really helped him kind of key in on how to play that character. That and the whole
My problem with Forrest Gump is not with the movie itself. It's with how the movie handles its depiction of mental illness, and it just makes. Dragon, it's a really dated portrayal of mental illness. I'll just say that much.
Well, what I like about the kind of the behind the scenes kind of thing here is the fact that they kind of talk about like there was a battle over the budget, and this really connects well to the Back to the Future thing, where Zemeckis, he was really kicked around in Hollywood before Back to the Future, and even after Back to the Future, he gets Forrest Gump. It's like, hey, you did this amazing movie. We're gonna nickel and dime you on the budget. That makes you feel good, doesn't it, Robert? Huh? So that's like I thought it was a strong lineup. I had a good time with it, as I usually am for this series. I'm always down for more of this that made us series. I want them to get back to the toys that made us too, though. I want to make that clear. We do need more of the toys that made us.
We need more, yeah, because Toys That Made Us, Dragon. Honestly, that's the one show where I honestly feel like the joking format works.
Yeah,
because I really feel like it's the playful tone. You know, toys are a playful subject. I can get behind the jokey tone in that one.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
All right. I think they want you to narrate that series, Tiki.
So yeah, Good Omens. Dragon, I'm more positive on this one than negative, but by the same token, I'm just gonna say it. This series kind of reminded me why I stopped being interested in Neil Gaiman's writing after high school.
Wait, really? You had that with Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, I do. I still do.
Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have been so insistent on Good Omens, Tiki.
Dragon, Neil Gaiman to me is like a more adult but less consistent Lemony Snicket in his writing style. I find his writing style to be really exhausting. I think he's really good at characterization, which is where this show absolutely shines. I love the two leads. I always knew that I'd love the two leads. I read this book back in high school, actually, so I'm familiar with the source material. And honestly, like you couldn't have casted two better people for the two leads. Like it's perfect.
David Tennant, Michael Sheen, of course. I mean, I love these two actors.
Casting. Dragon. Oh God, this show. The worst elements of the show for me were, to me, I'm just kind of like, all right, like
it's the B plot, right? It's the whole witch finder
I don't
thing,
like
right?
the B plot. I agree with you with the B plot.
I warned you about that.
That was disappointing because of the McKean of it all.
Yeah.
But honestly, Dragon, the Tilda Swinton narration.
Well, no, it's Frances McDormand, Tiki.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. You're right. It is Frances McDormand. My bad. For some reason, I just assumed it was. I mean, I didn't assume it was Tilda, but for some reason, Tilda Swinton came.
The idea is that Frances McDormand is God, actually, so she's telling you the story.
Dragon, the narration is where all the feelings of like, oh yeah, that's why I don't like Neil Gaiman's writing style come from. It's just like, hey, look at how clever our metaphors are.
Well, you know what I kind of equated to, Tiki? My shorthand was that it's kind of like a religious version of Hitchhiker's Guide, kind of a Douglas Adams sort of thing.
It's trying to be Hitchhiker's Guide. It's trying to be Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
It is not Hitchhiker's Guide.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, Tiki, I want to be clear. I echo your sentiments in terms of where the interest lies. Where absolutely my interest lies with our two leads, and I think that is absolutely the heart of the story. It's the whole like the angel and the
every time the two leads are on screen, I'm glued to the screen. I'm hooked. Absolutely.
Yeah, like the angels dining at the Ritz idea. Like that's the heart of the show.
Yeah. And I do like the real building. I like the effects. I love stuff like the Hellhound and the car that looks kind of like a hearse. I love that. I love the depictions of heaven and hell as the different kind of office spaces. That was really clever.
John Hamm was pretty fun.
John Hamm is great. Yeah. Honeybee is right. I do hate narration in this stream. It's a weird running theme.
Oh my God. Yeah. So let me ask you this: so the Antichrist story, did you like that?
Yeah, it was well done. I mean,
it just ties in most
convoluted.
to the. I mean, it's fine. I'm just figuring because it ties in mostly to our angel story, angel double story. Yeah, but again, the Witchfinder thing, it's pretty much like that, and the narration seems to get you down, though. Am I right? Am I sensing that?
Yeah, I mean, Dragon, honestly, like I said, the narration honestly just kind of gave me a little bit of like high school PTSD of like, ooh, I have matured past this writing style.
Well, let me ask you this: are you hooked enough by Aziraphale and I keep wanting to say Crowley, but it's Crowley.
Crowley,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
not Crowley. Crowley.
Yeah, I'll absolutely watch season 2 for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, okay. So let's move on from Good Omens then to okay. So I'm gonna compress this as much as I can. So Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 1. Okay, so I really feel for
So
Kevin
this show
Smith.
is like just completely like it's dragging it went over without a hitch. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. Okay, so see, I had high hopes for this, and once you remembered which one it was, you were excited for a moment too, and then it landed. So here's the thing. So I really feel for Kevin Smith right now.
Oh, I do too. I do too. I completely like. I honestly, look. If anyone in the comments here or anyone watching this, doesn't like the show, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I want to state, like, all film is subjective, all art is subjective. Totally fair. I'm not trying to cast shade on anyone. I am trying to cast shade on the little man children babies who are like, wow, this piece of corporate 80s media was raped. Like the Dragon, I have seen visceral like hatred. I'm just like what the fuck, man? Like is He-Man that important to you?
Man, it was literally made to sell toys. It's not an exaggeration. That's an actual factual definition.
Like they're acting like this is like the Indiana Jones situation or something. I'm stunned. I did not know there were this many people that felt this strongly about specifically Dragon. You know what I think of when I think of He-Man, right? I'm sure it's what you think of.
I have the power. And then
no. I was more specifically saying like the hey, yeah. What? Wait, you don't know about that?
What are you talking about?
Okay, I'm sure the folks in the comments know what I'm talking about. You seriously don't know about that He-Man meme?
Well, I don't know.
The GIF with the rainbows and the background with the silly. You really don't know about.
I know about the meme where he's like doing like the weird head jerking.
Yeah, motion. That's what I'm referring to, Dragon. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I was like, oh my god, how do you not know about?
No, I know about. I have never heard like the music applied, like the hey, yeah, like that. No.
And I said, hey, what's going on?
No, I don't know about. I know the image. I don't know that.
All right. Anyways. I mean, that's pretty much where my knowledge of like that and I will destroy you, He-Man, I am Skeletor. That's about all I know.
I mean, look, I know from He-Man I can count on 3 fingers. I know like the parody stuff from Robot Chicken. I know what I've learned from essentially 2 documentaries, which is from the Toys That Made Us, in which they covered He-Man, and the Power of Grayskull documentary, which is the extended version of that, which also covers the movies. That's all I really know about the movie, the bare bones of the toy line. And basically, like, just anything of the lore I know is from Robot Chicken, so not a lot. And the fact that Paul Dini worked on the animated show back in the Filmation days. I know that much.
Ooh, so I have some Dini stuff coming up.
Ooh. So, anyway, so I get back to my point. So I feel for Kevin Smith right now, given the ridiculous, messy response that the show has incurred. I mean, again, knowing the little that I know, I enjoyed this show. I really do. I think the 5 episodes hold up. I think it lived up to the hype of what was promised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dragon. Another super silly thing is people are literally just like, you can't kill off a fantasy. Like, once you kill off a character in the middle of the fantasy story, he's never coming back ever. It's just like Bucky Barnes, who's never coming back ever.
Wait, you have to use that example. Come on.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Bucky Barnes, he died. He heroically sacrificed his life. Do you remember? He's never, ever, ever coming back.
All right, fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay, my point is all the discourse and everything of like everyone, the fact that I enjoyed the show, but I want to make it that said, I kind of get the discord to an extent. I get the discourse in that even though He-Man appears in all the episodes and his presence is felt, the idea is that the first half is very much Teela's season. And basically Kevin Smith responded to a tweet saying, Again, he didn't lie, but he could have specified it's
I
not
heard
really.
him say something to the extent of like, "Oh, you want He-Man? You're gonna get more He-Man than you can handle, bro."
Yeah, he's been. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of He-Man in the second half, but again,
Uh,
he did not know about the split until like once they announced it on Netflix, so he didn't really know about all.
so honestly, Dragon, the controversy regarding this is like infinitely more interesting than the actual show itself.
But
That's
again, the
kind of where
show
I'm
is
down on.
just going into it fresh, which is kind of the point of the show, in that it kind of is like a sequel. It's more based on the toy line, but kind of picks up where the show left off. It's like it's kind of made for the diehard He-Man fans, but even for a novice like me to get into, which again I can get into the show because it's really well animated. It's got an A+ voice cast. I mean, Mark Hamill is astonishing as Skeletor. He gets two honeys of a scene. He's in it a couple of times, and again, like he's in the same boat as He-Man, Tiki, where Skeletor and He-Man, they're in the episodes, but
Yeah,
not in the way you want. But they get two amazing moments, which so far has been promised. They're going to get a lot of really excellent epic moments in the second half, which again we won't know until we get the second half, which is the problem. It's like they're perfect. These scenes are utterly perfect in every way. And again, the voice cast is great. There's some legit feels and everything, and we bring things full circle in terms of the narrative. So I mean, the season does hold up in the half that we get. And it makes you want to come back for that second half. But it's just, yeah, it takes to the toy line roots. There's a lot of good here. But again, the only problem I legitimately have with the show, and we'll see how it deals with, and this, no one's talking about this problem really, is that Teela's a little petty to me in her problem of the show. Like, the whole shtick is that she didn't know. She was the only person, along with He-Man's father, who didn't know that Adam was He-Man. That the skinny prince says, "I have the power," and he transforms into He-Man. So it's an identity thing of like, oh, she didn't know the secret identity, so she's ticked off at him from beyond the grave. Like, really? That's why you got issues, Teela. You were friends with Prince Adam.
right, Dragon. All right, I don't need a running commentary on it.
All right, well, there we go.
I'm sorry. I could care less about the actual plot. I'm sorry.
All right.
And Honeybee is kind of like chomping at the bits to get to Space Jam, and we're an hour in, so let's kind of breeze through this the rest of these. Oh god, fucking A, man. There goes the dog again. Star Wars droids. Dragon, this one is it's great, actually. Like, it's not deep at all, but surprisingly, like, compared to the Ewok stuff, it's S tier compared to the Ewok stuff. It legitimately feels like vintage Star Wars, whereas the Ewok stuff feels like weird, like, offshoot fan fiction home movies, Paul Dini worked on this too. I see his name in the credits. I think he's a producer on it.
Oh, that's how he met George Lucas. I remember the story well, yeah.
Dragon, this show is essentially just R2D2 and C3PO running around having misadventures in the galaxy. It's pretty much exactly what you expect it to be. The cool thing about the show is that it's got a few arcs to it. There's the first arc is where they meet up with these two, like, Dragon. It's funny because they're speeder racers, but it's kind of like an early version of pod racing. Anyways, they turn out to be rebels. I don't want to bore you with the details, but suffice to say, Dragon, it's just kind of like pulp sci-fi, old school Star Wars goodness. Like, really, this was my comfort food binge of the month, and I really got a lot out of this from that point of view. It really surprised me how consistently watchable this is. I don't even want to say good, because it's really goofy. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got that 80s flair to it, pretty hardcore. But I mean, it's it's really fun. It's just a good time. And the weird thing is, it is broken up in a weird way on Disney Plus, because you have the first season and then you have the second season, which is just one 48-minute long episode. So that annoys me. But besides that, it's great. I'd actually recommend giving it a watch.
Okay. Well, man, definitely. At some point, I'll probably get to that once I'm caught up on Rebels, probably. But yeah.
Yeah, Dragon, I honestly felt it was a breath of fresh air, honestly. Like, it kind of brought me back to, like, like a time before Star Wars got bogged down in continuity.
I mean, I'm definitely more interested than the Ewok show, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's leagues better than the Ewok show.
Okay, this one's going to go by real fast, and we'll probably switch.
Really quick, we got some Super Billy comments in regards to
the He-Man.
The He-Man, yeah, he says, I'm fairly equivalent to He-Man at this point, particularly towards the recent incarnation. We already have the original series and a successful reboot. There's always an immature, toxic element to fan backlash, but in my estimation, it's often grossly inflated. And then mainstream pop culture enthusiasts like Kevin Smith also labels everyone and everything in opposition to them as toxic. And Dragon, I will say in response to that, I do think that Kevin Smith, I relate to him and that I would be super frustrated with it too, but I kind of, over the past couple days, like after it released and after the backlash, I did kind of see him sort of dig a hole for himself on social media.
I mean, yeah, and I understand he's really frustrated because, again, he didn't lie, but it's still, he could have emphasized, like, guys, the first half's not going to be He-Man heavy. Honestly, what would have saved, and I'll say this and we'll move on, is that if only he could have just said, guys, it's Masters of the Universe, not strictly He-Man Masters of the Universe. I think that would have saved him. I really do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this one's going to go by fast, and I'll probably we'll start with Space Jam once we get to the movie, so we'll do that. So heist, little kind of net. It's a great concept, and I like the presentation on it. Basically, there's like 3 2-part episodes on these heist stories from the people involved, and have like recreations and everything. The problem is, like, not all the stories are winners. Like the first one's good. It's just that's. I wouldn't if the second season had like better episodes, assuming they even do a second season, I would recommend it. But just as is, like, I'd recommend watch the first 2 episodes, then at your own peril. Like, it's kind of what it is. It's we kind of go from like a Bonnie and Clyde story to like a big like a question of like, oh god, the money's been weighted down to like, okay, we're stealing booze to the 3rd episode. So there's kind of like it kind of decreases in the intrigue level,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not a strong recommendation.
Right. Short Circuit Season 2, did you get around to this?
Yes, I did, because it was only 20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, right. It goes by pretty quick.
Yeah, it was only 5 episodes. It was less than half of what the original season was.
I don't know. This felt weird. It didn't hit me like the other one did. There's there's certain ones I like. The one I really, really like
Going Home.
The guy going back to his hometown.
Yeah, Going Home. That was a good one.
That was like easily the highlight. I like the animation style for Dinosaur Barbarian, but it was literally just a theme song.
It was catchy as all get out, though.
It was, but honestly, I kind of wish we would get I would totally sign off on a Dinosaur Barbarian series.
Yeah. Crosswalk, I thought was really fun.
Crosswalk was another highlight just because I can totally relate to the anxiety.
Here's the thing, something we got to see him really do this season. Though they toyed with stop motion within CG, like they took the frame rates out to make it look like stop motion. That was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. I just felt these shorts were like maybe a little too short. That makes sense.
Come on, that's a dumb criticism, Tiki. Come on.
I know. I don't know. They just didn't land with me the same way the first ones did.
It didn't feel as diverse as
that's one thing. Yeah.
The last one was a dud to me. Like, songs to sing in the dark. I was like, really, that's all you got?
Oh, that one was like a whole bunch. Like, I was excited for the premise because I was like, ooh, this sounds vaguely Fantasia-like. But I was like, what? That was a nothing burger. All right. Anyway.
Okay, so let me hit. Okay, Honeybee, stay with us. After Primal, we'll jump right into Space Jam. Okay, hang on, we're almost there. Hang on. Okay. So Primal, Genndy Tartakovsky's animated show. It's on HBO Max. Highly recommend everyone check it out, especially you, Tiki. This is Genndy's ambitious.
It's on my list for sure.
This is Genndy's ambitious master opus. Magnum opus, but it's like a masterpiece to an extent. I mean, I don't know if I'd rank it over Samurai Jack necessarily, but he's doing some really ambitious stuff here. It's almost entirely silent until like one line said in the last episode. It's just basically it's like the correlation between civility amidst the primal setting, and then kind of the roles in nature. And again, basically it's simple premise. Caveman named Spear because he has a spear, and a dinosaur named Fang because it's got a fang. It's like a mama dinosaur. They're both tragically bonded together at the top of the series. It's like Ice Age with grit, Tiki. It's like the first Ice Age movie, but with utter grit. Like imagine you Manny and the baby, but what if it were dramatically compelling for the whole movie? Like no Sid the Sloth, no the comedy's like not like in your face or anything, no talking animals. It's there. There's your connection, and you're in it. I think it lost steam for a bit after the first two episodes are gobsmackingly amazing. Got some ambitious ideas. Loses steam like right in the middle for me. Not the middle. The penultimate episode loses steam. But when it gets to the ultimate episode, it picks it right back up. It's amazing with the tail of the scorpion or something. The slave of the scorpion. That's what it's, the slave of the scorpion. Great episode. I'm very hyped for season 2. Won 3 Emmys, all warranted. Okay, big event time.
Okay. All right. Hold on one sec. Okay, July 2021 movies. Space Jam, a new legacy. Yeah, we getting a jam. We getting a Space Jam. What was that? Dragon, I don't hate this, but it is cynical as all hell, and it is one of the most corporate cash cow movies I've ever seen. But by the same token, I think there's kind of a weird streak of artistic brilliance in this thing. Just in terms of like, this might be one of the most meta, self-aware, like, we are making a product for the sake of making a product, and we are very aware of it movies. Like, I don't even know what to make of it, Dragon. This thing set me through a trip.
Let me put it this way: Space Jam: New Legacy. It could have been worse, but it doesn't touch the original for me. And I rewatched the original after it, just to kind of see how I felt about it after a while. We haven't really talked about Space Jam since that Looney Tunes debate we did with the boys, with Joshua Thomas and Mark Sipka.
Yeah, and they were the ones doing the talking there.
Yeah. Honestly, the problem is, I agree with some. I don't know if it was critics or just people talking about the movie or not, but there's no personal touch with LeBron James versus where there was with Michael Jordan. Like
that is easily the biggest flaw with them. LeBron James is so unlikable in this movie.
I mean, I like it this way: there's a likable element to LeBron James, but it's like one element of versus everything else we'd get with him. Though, like the top of the act one of the movie is not flattering to him until he meets Bugs Bunny, and that's like the fact that we don't start him off in that place that bothers me.
I love the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the Bugs Bunny,
like when that popped up, I was like, oh, okay, they could be doing something with this.
See, but, that's what I'm saying. Like you had that, but we didn't do anything with it.
It's literally just an excuse to make him a jerk.
That's the shame of it all there, because I'm like, okay, he was there during the Space Jam era that we all were, to an extent, and you have that, and you have the Bugs Bunny correlation. He's a huge fan of Looney. That's awesome. Which a lot of Space Jam fans are your basketball players because of Space Jam. I know as crazy as that sounds, but I swear, I was walking by like not a Nike, but like one of those shoe places in the mall or something. Like, oh my god, people are going nuts for Space Jam. As they were back in the 90s too. It's the same. Like it's had like a true resurgence with it.
I'm going to say something that's a little controversial here. I honestly think the Looney Tunes themselves are, to a certain extent, with certain exceptions, Porky Pig being an obvious one, they're better characterized here than they were in the original.
I don't know. I don't know if I sign off on that, Tiki. Well, let me put it this way. Here's my issue with the Looney Tunes in this movie. My issue is I feel we did get the voice talent for sure, but I think they're not cast as their A voice for these characters, which kind of bothers me. Where this is not like the performance is like, for example, Bob Bergden. Bob Bergden does a flawless Porky Pig, and yet he is not cast as Porky Pig in this. And I know some
Porky in this, regardless. Like I just hated the way the rap. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's the worst
too. That's been in the movie by
far. But here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. Bob Bergden, though, not that I think we need that with Porky Pig in this. Robot Chicken, he's done that rap as Porky Pig, and it was awesome.
Are you serious?
Yes, and that was
rap.
Well, no, I'm saying it was a better rap, Tiki, but that's
Oh,
one
okay. I
the
was
fact
gonna
that he's
say.
no, I'm just saying Bob Bergen has done a rap as Porky Pig, and that was a better, and also with that actor doing that performance. I think that was I couldn't wrap my mind around the Looney Tunes entirely because a lot of them felt a little off in the vocal
Here's what I
performance.
liked about it, though. I felt like with Space Jam, the original, they were all just kind of generically slapstick. And this one, it felt like they were more on brand.
I'll give you
Like,
characters like Daffy, sure.
individually.
For the most part, like Daffy was very on brand here. Yes,
Daffy, Yosemite Sam,
sure.
Foghorn Leghorn, they were some highlights for me as far as the characterization goes.
I don't really recall what we did with Foghorn Leghorn in this one, but
I mean, he had a couple, he didn't have much, but there were a couple bits where I was like, that's very Foghorn.
well, I don't know. I don't know if I can say that a lot with the rest of them. The only very select characters can I get on board with you with. Where the other one, at least even in their individual slapsticky gags, that felt on brand for those characters and their slapstick though. For the most part, it's like I don't know. But like you're right though. Yosemite Sam like shoot the ball, and he shoots the ball with a gun. That's absolutely on brand.
Sam is like so on brand in this movie. It made me happy.
You're right about that. Like
Yosemite
for example,
Sam is my favorite Looney Tune.
Having moments like that versus like a random Pulp Fiction reference does make sense in comparison,
Right.
like how we usually say same.
Also, I think the Marvin the Martian scene is a thing of beauty.
That was great. However, I got to admit though, I do miss him as the referee though, because it's really cute having him as the referee.
Yeah, I agree, but still, I mean that scene, it's everything I love about Marvin the Martian tied up into one scene. It's great.
It was. You're right though. It was really well executed. So I mean, that's
as cynical as the Rick and Morty cameo is. I honestly think it makes perfect sense that they'd be experimenting on the Tasmanian Devil, and that the Tasmanian Devil would be too much for them.
Given Rick and Morty's usual barometer, I don't think it was cynical at all, Tiki. It was very tame. It was the tamest you can get with Rick and Morty. See you later, dum dums. Compared to what it could have been.
Cynical in terms of like what I mean by that is like, yeah, let's shove this adult cartoon into this kid's franchise because money.
Right. So that's the thing. So again, like LeBron James not having we're not having the personal touches where we're literally paralleling, putting all the heart and soul of Michael Jordan's career and like how his father
Michael Jordan living in a super modest house with his family versus giant deluxe mansion.
I did love the ball gag though. I thought that was really funny. It's the whole ball and it's like you toss it automatically hits him in the that was a cute joke. But you're right. I'm saying honestly the way Space Jam's opening, just like young Michael Jordan and his father, like the whole shoot until you miss. Like that is the what?
You can't beat it.
Exactly. You can't beat that. And that's what I'm saying. That whole movie had a lot of Michael Jordan was he played very as the straight man to the rest of the Looney Tunes, and it worked. And it just, I don't know. So we were dreading this going into the movie. There's a Ready Player One style background thing, all these cameos that kind of get lost in the shuffle, which is unfortunate. And it looked like, hey, we have an effect that looks kind of cool, but we're just going to copy and paste it for the whole background for reasons that don't make any sense. We're going to invite everyone here. And here's what made less sense, Tiki: the fact that we're having this weird plot of hey, let's teleport people from the real world to here, and if LeBron loses, they all stay here for reasons.
I hated all the Don Cheadle stuff, honestly. This is the most annoying that Don Cheadle's ever been.
I just think I liked one scene with Don Cheadle in it. I liked it when the kids stood up to Don Cheadle. That was nice. But outside of that, yeah.
I know. In his character is the one thing in this movie where I'm like, were the writers of this aware of how bad it was going to be? So they kind of self-insert. It's weird. It's weirdly self-aware, Dragon.
Tiki, I'm convinced this is one of those movies where, hey, we've been trying to make Space Jam for a long time, and now with the HBO Max, essentially, we have the facilities to make it happen, and we have all these mandates and everything. It just feels like an assembly line thing, like fill in the blanks sort of script of, okay, well, here's what we need in the movies, is just basically tie it to Looney Tunes. And, well, how do we tie in Looney Tunes with all of these properties? Well, it's a Warner Brothers server, I guess, technology. They've doubled down on the whole tech update just to justify the HBO Max money vibe. It's just the cash-in vibe.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Are there any comments in particular we should shout out here, Tiki?
Let's see. Super Billy says more blatant and cynical. Oh, I'm sorry. That's part. Super Billy's got a lot to say here. He says Space Jam 2 is one of the worst films I've seen in a while. LeBron James is a terrible actor, and the film is painfully unfunny and pandering. Visually hideous, terribly written, more blatant and cynical
Oh,
adult, and more cynical about his true nature. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say honestly, the visuals I was more worried about in the trailer. Like, well, we're playing like a basketball game outside with everything, but I gotta tell you, I don't know. With the lighting, it looked better than I thought it would. It still doesn't say. It still does. It's not a great thing. It was saying that's like the lighting. I was worried about. It's gonna be we're gonna play in broad daylight. That's gonna be the big game.
Uh,
Where's the ceremony?
I mean, that's pretty much all there is in the comments outside of Honeybee just screaming the theme song, which I respect.
Okay, the two jokes I have to highlight: the King Kong gag was like the best part of Don Cheadle in the movie. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. King Kong's right there behind him. That's really funny. And Michael B. Jordan. That's the
Michael
real
B. Jordan was
okay.
great.
That was easily that was the best. That was the whole reason to watch the movie. If I'm being frank, just the kidding because we always joked about that, but my God, it actually happened. They actually got him. Best part of the movie, just and the whole the fill-in like the basketball players were versus the Monster. The Monstars were so superior to the CG.
Oh God, not even close. Not even close.
Plus, if I recall, they got some of the actual basketball players to do the voice of those guys. If I recall, like not Charles Barkley, but I think the rest of them were actually. I think it might have been the actual players doing the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it's yeah. Plus, fake out death was sucked with Bugs Bunny. It was terrible.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that honestly, like, I don't know what made me more pissed off between that and Shaggy and Scoob.
Yeah. So it's a shame, it's a shame, but what could we really expect? I mean, how are you going to top the original? I mean, come on.
All right, so Black Widow. I mean, like, again, I'm kind of like once these Marvel movies come out, we talk about them so many times. I'm kind of just sick of talking about it. But it's solid. I liked it better than I expected to. I really David Arbor really didn't land as much for me as he did with most people. I thought his character was mostly just played for laughs when he could have had some real pathos, but I don't want to really have an argument about that. That's just how I felt. Florence Pugh, though. Florence Pugh, if there's any reason for this movie to exist, it's to introduce her into the MCU, and my God, they did a good job doing that.
This movie was just kind of like doomed to be late in many regards, especially now that we're dragging in the court. Black Widow just should have. This is a movie we should have gotten a Black Widow movie after Winter Soldier, in my opinion. That was at the height of her popularity. Everyone loved her.
Oh, that's Soldier. Absolutely when it should have come out. Yeah,
like right after Winter Soldier,
like at the very latest after Civil War.
Oh well. Well, I mean, that's when this movie's set, though, T. I don't know if that really. I mean, sure, we should have gotten it at the latest. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm saying that's the latest we should have gotten it. Like, that's absolutely when we should have. Yeah.
Yeah, because we couldn't get her. I understand why we couldn't do it in phase one, but I mean, Winter Soldier, she was a proven commodity. And like, I'm saying, like, between, like, before or after Ultron.
Honestly, phase two is weird, too, because it's like phase two has Guardians, which doesn't even factor into the Avengers movie in that phase.
Yeah.
Like, from a continuity point of view, phase two is kind of weird.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, Florence Pugh and David Harbour personally, I think stole the show. I think the two of them were highlights for me. Here's the thing: I think the movie it's good with cool action that works, but by the same token, it really could have been more polished. And at the end of the day, particularly with the Taskmaster, well, I won't dive into that whole thing, but the Taskmaster.
I'm not as offended by the Taskmaster as most people are, but that's because I literally know nothing about the comic character. So what are you going to do?
The fact that we've done a certain reveal like 4 times now with Taskmaster is kind of getting under my skin.
Yeah, I mean that's true. It's very old. It's very old. It's pretty much Ghost all over again.
I mean, it doesn't really matter who's under the mask, Tiki. That's my point. But it's the fact we're doing a certain reveal again in lieu. It doesn't really matter who's under. You don't even need to unmask Taskmaster. It doesn't matter. That's the point. But anyway, sorry. I think what we have here with Black Widow for me is that it's a cool movie and it's a nice epilogue, kind of passing the torch to the Florence Pugh of it all with the Elenas. I mean, that's the important part of the movie. But and it's more watchable than Captain Marvel. But at the end of the day, it's a movie with Black Widow in it, but not truly like the Black Widow film we were all hoping for. It's like not one like when you say here's the Captain America movie, the Iron Man movie, the Thor movie. This is not the definitive Black Widow movie. It's a movie that features Black Widow.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of unfortunate after all that waiting. It's the last time we're going to get that bite of the apples. That's where I'm at on. It's like it's good, but it's not definitive.
All right. So let's see. After that, we have Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, this is a fun adventure movie.
Honestly, Dragon, this is sticking with me. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I like that. That was a nice little movie. It's definitely, the plot is a little bit like, I don't necessarily, I think the plot has a little bit too many supernatural elements going for it. I think you could have easily cut out one of the villains. But I mean, overall, Dragon, this is a great little throwback to when Pirates of the Caribbean used to be good.
Yeah, I like. There's a lot of love for the attraction in it. Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt. They get, well, I mean, at the top though, it's really great. There's a lot of love to the attraction.
I mean,
come on.
There's not as much love for the attraction as there could have been.
It's my favorite scene in the movie, man. We literally do the attraction. What more do you want? It's in the movie.
I don't know. I'm just saying that you know how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know you wanted the radio guy, but outside of that, everything was
kind of not just the radio guy. The community of skippers is specifically what I wanted. But
all right, fair. Well, the point being, again, for me, the whole supernatural thing feels like a second movie, and that's the problem. That's the problem I have with it. Not a bad movie.
I would have taken the supernatural plot out and replaced it with a plot with a rival skipper or something.
Sure, there you go. Yeah. Certainly. So, again, yes, that's just where I'm at on. Again, it's kind of part indie, part mummy, but that's not a bad thing.
I still do kind of appreciate the how creative the supernatural stuff got, though. I really like the ant guy in particular.
The bee guy, Tiki.
Oh, the bee guy. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. The bee guy. Yeah.
It's the bees, not the bees.
Not the bees.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It feels a little spliced together on seamlessly, and that's my main problem with it. But again,
it totally does.
Both movies are not bad though. I don't need two of them though. I just need one. Okay, let's see. What do we got next? Next we have,
I think, Clothes for Storm, right?
Yes, Clothes for Storm.
All right, so this was a documentary by the one and only Jake Williams of Bright Sun Films, who I've been following for quite a long time. You're just getting caught up with his content, but this was pretty much a dream project for him to make. I know he's been talking about making a Six Flags New Orleans documentary for a long time. Really cool to see him pay off his style. I would say, like, the one bit in this movie that I'm like, all right, Jake, like, this is you kind of like, this is you and your friends just kind of like having a good time, is the urban exploration part. But other than that, it's a really well done documentary. It really shows the community element of Dragon. I think it's one of the better documentaries as far as, like, I've always wondered what it would be like to literally live with an amusement park in your backyard to a certain extent, and this pretty much showed that off, and it's like not for the best given the circumstances, but still it's really interesting.
Yeah, it makes me want more theme park documentaries between this and the Class Action Park. I'm really sold on these these explorations into these. Basically, taking kind of like
a full blown Nara Dreamland documentary.
I mean, I think maybe a documentary could sell me on that. Sure, I think
what Nara Dreamland is?
Not really at all. No,
it's a creepy knockoff Disneyland that was abandoned for years in Japan.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is, but that sounds interesting.
It's creepy, anyways.
Yeah, and again, I like the style. I had some qualms with the third act, but again, as his feature debut, I think he did an excellent job. Makes me want to see more from him. Ideally, maybe another. I mean, whatever documentary he does next. But again, if he did another theme park one, I'd be interested to see what he do.
All right, so Tomorrow War Dragon. What's that Chris Pratt lad up to?
Yeah, so this is Amazon's action movie featuring a Chris.
Amazon has not had a hit in a while, dude.
You know what's funny though? I love that like Netflix has a Chris movie and Amazon has a Chris movie. Now there's Hemsworth on Netflix, there's Pratt on Amazon. Technically, it's not a movie, but Chris Evans had the Defending Jacob show on Apple Plus. Oh, so basically, next is and HBO Max. Chris Pine with Wonder Woman 84, so there you go. Not exactly Chris-centric, but anyways, that's a dumb joke. So this was directed by Chris McKay. Chris McKay, he did the Lego Batman movie. Yes. So he did the Lego Batman movie, which I love, and he's going to be doing the Nightwing movie in live action, which is going to be interesting. So this guy, he's coming up a lot. Also, he co-directed the Lego movies. This guy's got good credits to his name. I like Chris McKay as a director. Yeah, this is like a war movie with a time travel, basically with a time travel element. It's basically a father earning his way back to his child's story, to his daughter through time. It's a really solid. Here's the thing. I think it's a really solid movie. I would be able to sign off on it more. Only it spins its wheels a little in Act Two, but Act One and Act Three are great. To you, particularly, I would recommend to you at the very least check out Act One. Tiki, I think you'd really love it.
Okay.
Because Act One, let me describe Act One to you very simply. It's like a theme park attraction. It's like
Ooh.
here's what just charms me about it. Okay, so the whole premise of the movie is like 30 years in the these. There's like it's like Christmas
No,
Day.
you
There's
don't
like
have to go over the premise. I know the premise.
okay, well, the point being, it's like your average Joes are thrown into a war zone. It feels like you're
Yeah.
going into a theme park, right? You're thrown into the
Oh,
future
that's
war
cool.
zone, and it's just these average Joes. You're like Chris Pratt leading the bunch, and he's the only one with like military experience. He and like another guy are like the only ones with military experience. It's very thrilling, and it's very harrowing. It's really great. I love Pratt and the Sam Richardson. The actor who I've seen him in like things like Veep and everything, as Dan and Charlie. These guys, like they're like science nerds who are just kind of like thrown into the thick of it. And they're really buddy. It's really cute. And then the Act Three brings back this J.K. Simmons thing. J.K. Simmons is a really great role in the movie, and we have like a nobody payoff of like the action laden father of it all. It's like he's coming in, he's kicking butt, he's taking names. I really had a great time with it. Just Act Two just kind of spins the wheels with time travel logic. Like, does that really make sense? Well, no, but we need kind of point A and point B to line up here. But Act One, Act Three, I really liked it, so that's kind of where I'm at on it.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Super Billy. I would recommend Jungle Cruise. Honestly, it's like it was kind of a throwback to me. What I appreciate about it is that it's like obviously like it's based on a ride, so there's some sort of IP to it, but like by all intents and purposes, it's an original action adventure movie in the style of something like The Mummy. Like it has a lot of cross DNA with The Mummy. It's definitely The Mummy mixed with Pirates of the Caribbean for sure. So if that sounds appealing to you, I think you'd really like it. All right. Anyways. What's next, Dragon?
Old.
Right. Oh, God. Red Letter Media did kind of a joke about that.
Then I'm just thinking of that song from SpongeBob, Because You're Old.
Red Letter Media was basically just like in their half in the bag review, like, hey, guys, you want to go see Old? Yeah, Rich, let's go see Old.
Yes, so I'm familiar with the book that this is based on. So how did
Are
the
you
movie
really?
stack up? Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. This is like not one of M. Night's like great movies by any stretch. It's like nowhere near a Sixth Sense or a Signs or an Unbreakable. I had so much fun with this movie, Dragon. This movie is a blast. Oh my God, Dragon. This movie to me is honestly like. It's a great mix of like legitimate M. Night suspense and high concept horror. Like there's certain scenes in here that really stand out, and I'm like, oh, I am with it. Like this is edge of your seat stuff. But then Dragon, it's also a beautiful, potent combination of like super silly, bad acting, like terrible exposition. So, Dragon, this is so much fun because it's legitimately effective, and yet it's also very much a so bad it's good M. Night movie at the same time. And it's in my top 10 of the year so far. Like, it's not a great movie by any means, but it's one of the most fun movies I've seen this year. And I really enjoy the discourse around it. I really enjoy how many people are enjoying it in the same level I am. I don't know. I just had a ball with it. I mean, I'll give you a couple examples of the really awkward exposition. Stephen Young plays. Like I love Stephen Young. I think he's a great actor, but man, he is saddled with some of the worst exposition. He's just like, I'm a nurse. I can help out in this situation. I know what's going on. Hey, why can't we go through that way? It's just like, oh my God, it's so awkward. And then Dragon, one of my favorite parts of the movie, like the part that just kind of made me crack up and be like, oh, we're in for a ride here, is at the very beginning of the movie, like there's these two kids that are going around this pool at the resort before they get to the beach that turns everybody old. And the kids are literally going around playing this quote-unquote game where they're asking random adults, what's your name and what's your occupation? And I'm like, oh, M. Night. Oh, M. Night. Oh,
Did Shyamalan
God.
have a cameo in the movie?
What?
Did Shyamalan have a cameo in the movie?
Oh, God, yes, he does, Dragon. Yes, he does. He plays the guy who drives the resort guest to the beach that makes you old.
Nice.
I'm sorry. And he has a great introduction where they all get in the van and he turns around and he's like, all right, everyone pack their sunscreen. Oh my God. Honestly, Dre, at that moment, I absolutely cracked up in the theater. I was so on board. This is definitely not one of M. Night's best movies, but it might be one of my favorites. That's all I'll say.
I'm getting a sense it did not go as super dark as the book.
Oh, God, no.
All right.
I mean, it goes dark. It goes dark. But I know how the book ends, and this ends with a couple of them actually getting off the beach. So therefore, it is not as dark as the book. M. Night Shyamalan is a love child of this movie in particular, Super Billy. This movie in particular embodies that point very well. Like I said, some genuine moments of edge of your seat suspense, like genuine moments where I'm like, oh my God, this situation is crazy. And then also genuine moments of like, this is ridiculous. This is like some of the best so bad it's good stuff I've experienced in a movie theater in a while. So yeah, I had a ball with Old Dragon. All right.
Okay, so next is No Sudden Move. Now, this is an HBO Max movie, Steven Soderbergh film. It's kind of like a period caper film. You know, of course, Soderbergh, you know, the Ocean's 11 guy is really good at this sort of stuff, the capers and the heist, and you know, obviously, what was it? Did he? Was he the one who did the Steve Jobs movie or no?
I don't think so.
Trying to remember who. Do you remember?
Wait,
Who, without
Steve
Aaron
Jobs.
Yeah,
the movie Steve Jobs.
Yeah, the movie Steve Jobs. The one
that was Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle, right? Sorry,
yeah.
I'm thinking Soderbergh did something, but anyway. Okay, sorry.
And I have no idea who did the Ashton Kutcher one. That's the one I thought you were.
No, I know he didn't. I know he didn't do the Ashton Kutcher one. I thought he did the one that was Danny Boyle. Regardless, anyway. So yeah, Tiki. Here's the thing. I think you'd like this. Okay, I don't mean to I don't know if I've undersold you on this.
Guess what I've heard about it, Dragon.
What have you heard about it?
I've heard that it's. Wait for it.
Oh God.
Wait for it. Mediocre.
No. On the edge of my seat, like he's gonna say it, isn't he? He did say it.
Like, by all intents and purposes, all the feedback I've heard from it is like great cast, mediocre screenplay.
I mean, it's kind. Here's the thing. I think a MacGuffin kind of hurts the movie. Okay, because the MacGuffin's a little convoluted for its own good. It makes sense, but it's like getting to why can't we just say what it is? It's that sort of thing of like, guys, just say what it is, or it'll save you a lot of trouble. That's the problem in the movie for me. Otherwise, so you know, Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro, they're great. You know, they're the crooks in the movie. You know, they're hired for a job, which is a simple job. You know, watch the family while someone. It's very Albuquerque versus Tiki. It's kind of our brand of crime. You know, it's like okay. Like a Mike Ehrmantraut watches people while someone else makes sure someone does something. You know, basically brings a document from his place of work. It's all he's got to do. And that guy is David Harbour. David Harbour is in this movie. He's great in this movie. He's the key to it all. He's the key to like, getting what they're heisting essentially. And Brendan Fraser's in this. And again, the unrecognizable Brendan Fraser. He's put on a lot of weight ever since you've last seen him, Dickie. It's like you know, it's Brendan Fraser who's been cast, I believe, in the new Scorsese movie, by the way.
He has been, and I'm really excited about that.
This would give you a good barometer for what you might see from him in that. I mean, Brendan Fraser is good in this. He's unrecognizable.
I believe it.
And Ray Liotta's in this. Again, it has an A+ cast, as you've heard. And John Hamm's in. He's like a detective. I love the cast in this, no question. There's a special somebody in this who you have to see. But he's great once you reveal. Like the Mr. Big, like the guy who's at the top of the food chain. It's a special. He's uncredited sort of reveal, and you'd love it. But anyway. The point being, you know, it's kind of standard Soderbergh stuff. You know, it's like it's twist upon twist upon twist. That does work out in the end. That's cool. I just wish like the moment there's like a scene where David Harbour and his mistress are stressing about the MacGuffin. That's where the movie lost me. Like that moment there is like, I have no idea what they're talking about, and that's not good. Like everything up till then is like, okay, well, I'm absolutely following. There's a double cross. I get it. Okay, I'm in, and we're following Cheadle and Benicio del Toro figuring their way out from said double cross. And again, I think everything turns out really well in the end, but just that middle section of that MacGuffin is like, oh man, why can't we just say what the MacGuffin is? But outside, again, I think you should check it out if you can, but not like a rush out to see it sort of thing. It's if you have nothing better to do and you want some Soderbergh, there's your movie.
All right, fair enough. Okie dokie. Let's see.
Oh, Super Billy said, still haven't seen No Sudden Move, despite it being one of the most anticipated movies of the year. Some have called it boring.
Yeah, I've heard similar thoughts. Yeah,
I could see a general audience calling it boring unequivocally. I could absolutely see that because again, the MacGuffin I think is the kryptonite of the movie.
I can see a general audience calling The Green Knight boring, but we'll get to that.
And the problem is, it's like it's not even 2 hours. It's like an hour and 55 minutes. Shave off the credits, hour 50 minutes.
Right, yeah.
That's a problem though. If that MacGuffin drags out that movie so long.
Yeah, that's a shame. But
it's a well acted movie though. That's the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay, so let's see. So next up is Pig.
Yep.
Do you know anything about this?
Nick Cage is in it. That's all I got.
That's all you know. Okay.
That's all I got.
So Dragon, based on the trailers, based on the premise, let me tell you the premise and you tell me what you think people are comparing it to, all right?
All right.
So Nicolas Cage plays a reclusive hunter guy who lives in a cabin, and he has a pet pig, and he has a very close bond with his pet pig. And one day his pet pig gets kidnapped, and he has to go into the city to get the pig back at any cost. Dragon, what does that remind you of?
Is it John Wick?
Yes. Everyone has been saying that the premise sounds like John Wick. Dragon, this is nothing like John Wick.
Well, I mean, clearly the pig's not dead at the top of the movie, so it's not John Wick.
No, but I'm just saying, like, tone-wise, everything about this movie is not John Wick. This is like the antithesis of John Wick. And I love it for that. Dragon, this is easily... You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. Like, I haven't seen some of the big early stuff in Cage's career. Like, I haven't seen Leaving Las Vegas, for example. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, this is the best performance I've ever seen Nick Cage give, bar none. Like,
really, even more than Willy's Wonderland.
God. Like, it's not even close. It's not. This is just outstanding work. He's almost unrecognizable. And not only that, Dragon, but Alex Wolff, of all people. Alex Wolff is having a moment between this and Old, which I saw on the same weekend. So it was kind of like a weird, great Alex Wolff double feature. Two of my favorite movies of the year. And Alex Wolff plays, so Dragon, I don't know, essentially this movie kind of weirdly gets into the underbelly of the Portland fine dining scene. Because the pig is a truffle hunter. The pig is really, really good at tracking down truffles. And truffles are apparently like a delicacy in fine dining cuisine and blah, blah, blah. I don't really know all that much about that. But what I do know is, like I said, in terms of it being the anti-John Wick, it's basically a movie where he's sort of going around. It's a hard movie to describe unless you watch it, Dragon. I'll say that much. I'll very much say that much. As far as tone goes, anti-John Wick is about the best way I can describe it, because in spite of him being on a quest to get his pig and, you know, it being kind of motivated by revenge and whatnot, it's a very meditative movie, Dragon. That's a good way. That's a good word to describe it, is meditative. It's got a slow pace. I honestly don't know how much you'd like it. I know you won't like The Green Knight. We'll get there. I know you won't like The Green Knight. But this, I don't know. I'd recommend this to you just for Cage, but I don't really know how much you would appreciate this one. It's on the slow side for sure. That being said, it's got my favorite ending of the year. One of my favorite.
Really?
I don't know. The Green Knight's up there too, but we'll get there. Can you tell that I also appreciated the Green Knight that I'm itching to get to? Anyways, so yeah, Pig, easily one of the best movies of the year.
Okay. All right, so let me tell you about the Stuntman.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a cheat, but kind of not. Because apparently what happened, I had no idea about this until afterwards, is that apparently this is a repurposed Disney Plus save, where it was kind of like the Howard Ashman thing. It was a 2018 documentary, but it did not get a wide release. So this is kind of the wide release. So it kind of, it pretty much counts. It has like, I don't know, maybe there's, I think there's like, the original's like longer, so it's kind of like a recut sort of thing. I don't know.
Oh, there's my OCD, but okay, that's
I mean, that's
fine.
what I heard. I don't know how
It
much
doesn't bother my OCD as much as Hamilton actors getting nominated for Emmys bothers my OCD, but that's an entirely different conversation.
All right. So apparently, Dwayne Johnson, he produced this documentary. He produced a documentary again for Disney Plus.
Really, Dwayne Johnson's a busy man.
That he is. That he is.
I mean, not that that's anything new.
All right, so this one's really simple. This follows you follow a beloved, humble stuntman from the business, Eddie Braun. Okay, Eddie Braun, this is a guy who sustained injuries, and he's got like city miles on it from all the stunts that he's pulled. And safely, he's not like really crippled or anything, but it's like it wears you down, it makes you a little slower, makes you a little hesitant to do the next stunt. Anyway, so the point being, had a long storied career, it's taken its toll, and he has a family, and he's thinking about one last great stunt. And this is a really well-made documentary. It tells a man pursuing a goal. It's one of those documentaries, Tiki. It's basically his one last great stunt is the stunt, jumping Snake River Canyon in a rocket, which is what Evel Knievel did. That was Evel Knievel's folly. The stunt that put Evel Knievel on the map, even though he failed to complete the stunt. He went in the rocket. He did not get all the way across. He crashed in the middle. He crashed down the canyon. So this is a great premise. It's very well shot. It's like, this is like the spiritual and optimistic sequel for Being Evil, the documentary about Evel Knievel, which shows both the good and also negative aspects of Evel Knievel. Which I've hyped that documentary up to you many times, but this is great though. You can watch it on its own, but if you want to go, like it makes for an excellent double feature. I'm just saying for the folks out there who maybe want to do that again. It's Being Evil, spelled Evel Knievel. Anyway, so it's just this. This is all about the goodwill that Evel Knievel instilled in people with those stunts, like with all those Evel Knievel toys, the Duke Kaboom prototypes, if you will, like the whole like those stunt cycles and everything. This is what inspired the aftermath of that rocket jump. It inspired us to reach for heights. And this documentary has palpable tension of like, will he make the jump? Will he make history? Because he could just land in the middle like Evel Knievel did. Like, will this man achieve his dream of his last stunt? Before he goes out, could he get seriously hurt? Like, there's a moment in this documentary where he's saying to camera, like, basically it's a pre-recorded last will and testament. You don't know when you're watching this if he's going to make it or not. It's really compelling stuff. I think they did an excellent job with this. I don't know whether they salvaged it or they edited it down or what. I think it turned out really nicely. I liked it.
Okay. All right. Can we not have stuff go on that long for future reference? I'm just trying to get this done quickly. Okay, The Green Knight. This is my favorite movie of the year so far, and you would hate it. It's weird because most people are comparing this one to something like I don't know. I would compare it more towards the Lighthouse. Yeah, I think you guys already know my thoughts on The Green Knight. Yeah, Dragon, this is pretty much this year's The Lighthouse for me, as far as like it's absolutely just a cinematic experience. I know you would hate it because it is just littered in metaphor. Like, nothing about it makes sense. It is absolutely a drug trip of a movie. But, I mean, visually, it's just absolutely striking. I'm sorry, Dragon. I'm getting really self-aware about the timing issue at hand. So, let's just move on. Great movie, best of the year. But honestly, describing this thing is kind of impossible just because outside of just like great visuals, it's just a movie that needs to be experienced. It really is. Very much a theater experience as well, but I can absolutely understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah.
Dragon, I'm terribly sorry. I don't mean to be rude. We need to kind of just keep these to a little bit more bullet point.
Right. Okay, Gunpowder Milkshake. This is my kind of action movie on Netflix. I liked it. It's a great female-led piece. Karen Gillan's in it. She basically plays an assassin looking after a little girl that she unintentionally orphaned. And it's kind of like a small creative stab at a John Wick. It's more local and folksy. Like you have diners. Like the big aesthetic is like the 50s, 60s diner in the bowling alleys and like the library and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. It's got a great cast. The action's really, really nice. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. Short of it all. I don't know if you'd like it, but I mean, compared to the usual action fare on Netflix, I think you can get into this one more than the usual stuff. You like it a heck of a lot better than Extraction. I'll put it to you that way.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, I put it to you that way. All right.
Okay, Roadrunner, a film about Anthony Bourdain. This is it's interesting, Dragon. This is no Won't You Be My Neighbor, but it's very good, and it's very again, I'll use the word meditative. Like the thing that it doesn't have on Won't You Be My Neighbor is Won't You Be My Neighbor had a very clear thesis statement behind it, whereas this just kind of feels very wayward and very much just kind of loose, and it's essentially just telling the story of Bourdain's career. What I like about it though is it's very pondering on his on the effect that travel had on his life. Like if there's any sort of thesis statement, that's it. Kind of like the dichotomy of him really wanting to be a family man, really wanting to genuinely be a great dad with all his heart, and also having a career that pulled him into travel, which is something that he genuinely loved doing as well. And you really get to see kind of like the double-sided nature of a lifestyle like that. And that is definitely the best pull of the documentary for me. Goes on a little too long. It's a little over 2 hours long, I think, which is just kind of too long for me for a documentary like this. I think Won't You Be My Neighbor was the perfect length. But I mean, it's a solid follow-up to Won't You Be My Neighbor for sure. I would definitely recommend it. All right.
Okay. All right, let's see. Lastly, Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans. Again, this is the movie ending to Del Toro's trilogy of DreamWorks series on Netflix. Troll Hunters, Three Below, and Wizards. Puts a nice full circle bow on things. All that. Jim Lake Jr.'s arc since the beginning. The kid who finds like the Merlin's amulet becomes a warrior. Kind of He-Man-esque, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. I'm kidding with that. Regardless, I didn't care for the pregnancy subplot, and the villains are a little generic compared to what we've had as the season's bad guys with all like the three between the three shows. The climax and the ending is beautiful. It's dramatic. It pulls an Avengers Endgame, which I really like. They ended on a really sweet note. Again, great cast as always. We have like the Kells is in this. Does a great job, putting the fine bow on things as kind of is warranted. It makes me want to binge all of the shows again. I think it's beautiful what Del Toro was able to do with DreamWorks here again after the ending of it all of like 3 shows in a movie. It was just tremendous. He did a great job with it. He pulled it off. Really nice. Top marks.
Cool. Nice. All right, let's get the catch up, Dragon. Let's knock it home. Let's bring it home, baby. All right, mystery movie. What do we got?
Okay, documentary. This is Street Gang: How We Got to Sesame Street.
Oh, you lucky bastard!
Yeah, I actually bought it.
How do you manage this?
I bought it on DVD. It was kind of destiny. When I was seeing, I think it was Black Widow. When I saw Black Widow, I was at a Barnes and Nobles, and I just kind of like was looking through movies, and it was just there by destiny.
I am envious, man. Is it as good as I dream it to be?
Let me put it this way: it is. I love that we have 3 Sesame Street documentaries, and they're all really great. I don't know if I put it above I Am Big Bird because it's so hard to meet that mark because that's an amazing documentary.
Dragon,
But
I Am Big Bird is a portrait of a human being. It is not a documentary about Sesame Street.
well, that's what you know what I mean.
No, I'm just saying that's the distinction there.
So that's what I'm saying. Because of that, I don't know if I could say it's over that movie, but I'm just saying it's in great company with that movie. You know, this is like this is the supplemental material for that documentary. This is like because this is very simple. This is based off a book, a really good book from what I hear by Michael Davis, and it's about the formation. It's the OG Sesame Street. It's like everything pre-Elmo. It's about from this to like Mr. Hooper essentially. That's kind of like the framing. It's from the beginnings to the Mr. Hooper episode. Mm-hmm. This is basically this movie is John Stone's story, man. This is about who that very much factors into the I Am Big Bird, so it's kind of really great in that regard. It's basically about a man who put his heart and soul into Jim Henson's concept. It has like some great moments spotlighting the genesis of these eureka moments, like my favorite thing, which is interviewing the kids. Like we get the origin of that idea. We need more of these Sesame Street and Jim Henson documentaries. They're all welcome as far as I'm concerned. We got 3 so far. 4 kind of, if you want to be all semantical, but yeah, this was great. Loved it.
Cool. Okie dokie.
It's ridiculous that it's not on HBO though, because technically this is an HBO documentary. This is utter bull.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of stupid stuff with how HBO handles stuff. I'm like, really? You're taking away Joker? Like, not that I even care. But like, why would you take away Joker? Like,
wait,
that should be
you're getting rid of it now?
Things. Yeah,
unbelievable. All right,
I know, isn't that stupid? Like, I don't even care. I don't even like that movie that much. But I just noticed it in the leaving soon category, and I'm like, why even bother to take it off? It's your damn movie.
Utterly ridiculous. All right,
Dragon. I swear to God, it's like a new Disney Vault kind of situation.
I know. I don't get it.
All right. Anyways, I'm glad Disney Plus doesn't pull that bullshit. Thank God.
Well, very selectively do they pull that, but at least it's with a purpose. It's not like it's not just completely willy nilly. All right.
So I saw the Donner cut. Dragon. I don't want to. We already did a full podcast about this. Don't want to spend too much time on it, but I really liked it. And honestly, the trippy part of this is, kind of like putting together like my vague memories of watching the theatrical cut of Superman 2 as a kid, which I believe I watched all of once, and then sort of like piecing it together like, oh my God, like just the fact that literally this movie is comprised of like all the best parts of this movie, literally all the best parts of this movie are stuff that's not in the original Superman 2. It's just fascinating to me, just from an editing point of view. I don't know. Obviously, I still don't think it beats Superman 1, but it's very good in its own right, for sure.
Yeah. Again, that Brando scene, man, like that's just the big missing chunk of any version of that Superman 2 movie. We get it in this movie, and it's gobsmackingly beautiful.
Oh yeah.
All
right. The Old Man and the Gun. Dragon. What?
No, I have seen this.
Okay. I'm curious, Drake, because this is a David Lowery movie. Same director as The Green Knight, oddly enough.
Yeah.
This one sticks out in his filmography like a sore damn thumb, man, because it's compared to The Green Knight and A Ghost Story, which we'll talk about later. This one is so normal. Like, it's got its quirks to it, to be sure, but it's just kind of like your average bank robber movie, right? What do you think of it? I'm curious.
Well, remember, he also did Pete's Dragon, too.
Oh, he did, yeah, but even compared to Pete's Dragon, it's a normal movie compared to that. Pete's Dragon is one of the more unsure of the live-action remakes.
Well, I remember really liking this movie. And also, fun fact, this is Robert Redford, because Endgame was kind of they shot, Infinity War and Endgame back-to-back, so technically Endgame and this were his last movies. This was like the last full-on Robert Redford movie. And
I really like Robert Redford and Casey Affleck in this. I think they both really shine. I think the weird thing with this movie is that David Lowery's directing style is like, to me, it's way more like it's meant for more high concept stuff than this. So it's like stuff like Dragon. Do you remember that elaborate scene towards the beginning of it's not really elaborate, but it's like they literally just kind of like pause the movie for Casey Affleck to explain a joke.
I'm a little fuzzy on that, but I think
It's,
so.
it's
Yeah.
like these weird asides that the director will do that I will say definitively work way better in a movie where you're already in kind of a trippy headspace like The Green Knight or A Ghost Story than they
Well,
do in a movie where it's supposed to kind of have a straightforward narrative.
I mean, what stuck out to me is I'm always a sucker for the gentleman thief story, but beyond that, I always
Oh
loved
yeah,
Harry Cole.
the gentle. This definitely has that in spades, and I love his dynamic with Sissy Spacek too. That was definitely a highlight.
And that's the thing, though. I love the ending with the list, like the list of all the escapes, and we used the footage of Robert Redford over the years. I thought that was a beautiful way of like that's how you, again, knowing this is Robert Redford's movie before retirement, like that's how you go out.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Marksman.
Yeah, The Marksman. Never underestimate Liam Neeson in a Liam Neeson film, I've come to learn, despite Cold Pursuit being not a great movie. Despite that one, these recent ones have really been knocking my socks off. Yeah, this was on Epics. And yeah, this was the last Liam Neeson movie released pre-pandemic. This is released before the pandemic. I've kind of come to a realization with this movie that the action film is kind of become, at least certain action films have become the new Western. You know, it's kind of become the new genre of Western.
Liam
And
Neeson specifically?
yeah,
Huh.
I mean, particularly this movie is very
I'm
much,
not
it's,
sure if I agree with that, but
well, I'm saying in general, the action movie, this movie kind of convinces me, maybe the action movie, at least some, in a lot of cases, the action movies kind of become the send up to the Western. Maybe it was just this
uh,
movie, entirely possible, but that's kind of the vibe I get, where like a lot of Liam Neeson action movies have kind of been in that Western genre. I don't know. At least in this case, he's like an ex-marine. He's like a cattle ranch. Lost his wife, and essentially he is by turn of circumstance, mother and her son are trying to cross the border, and basically he's tasked with transporting the boy to his family. And it's like he's paid to do this, but it's more out of honor than it is money that he's going on this road trip with the kid. And it's a really basically this is a comfort action movie. This is like it's not like balls to the walls action or anything. It's just like it's an old man taking a kid, an old man who has nothing left. It's a little, I don't know, maybe it's like a weird version, it's a weird up comparison, but I don't know. It's kind of like, it's like a bonding adventure of Neeson and this boy with the grit of a Western. That's really cool as like, you know, just kind of, this coming of age story is just kind of taking this kid across the border and just taking him to, taking the family. I mean, even if these movies don't do well, which this one from what I call did not do well, Neeson always brings it, man. Neeson delivered an excellent performance in this film. Marksman was it's a great comfort movie, Tiki. It's a great comfort Liam Neeson movie.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what's not a great comfort movie, but is a pretty decent movie, is The Empty Man. This was recommended by Chris Stuckman, and as you know, I pretty much take Chris Stuckman's word as gospel when it comes to movie taste. And Dragon, this is very Fincher-esque, and for good reason. I'm very fascinated by this director because this director actually put together all the DVD menus and bonus features for Fincher's best DVDs. So for Seven and Fight Club back in his golden age. And let me tell you, man, like those DVDs are they have some of the, like, they're like the, like, you know, back when Disney and Pixar used to like jam pack stuff into their DVDs. It's kind of the equivalent there. Like Fincher DVDs bonus feature in general is like very generous. He's kind of like the anti Spielberg. Like he'll do multiple commentary tracks.
Nice.
But anyway, so yeah, this guy, you know, he very much kind of cut his teeth with Fincher. So this is a missing persons movie where an ex-cop is investigating the disappearance of his neighbor's teenage daughter, but it is also a lot more than that. And to say much more will kind of give away some of the secrets. It's a very dense movie. It is. And honestly, Dragon, I'm not sure. I do think that I think you'd be into this movie until the last act of it. And honestly, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the ending of it either. I was very much on board with this thing up until a certain point. Like the ending did kind of disappoint me because I was kind of just like, oh wow, like that did not go where I was expecting it to go. But getting there is a ride, man. It's a ride. It's a really, really good, like very, very cold clinical detective story. It's very like neo-noir-esque. There's a lot of thematic imagery with bridges and bottles and a lot of symbolism there. It's got a terrific 25-minute prologue, which sounds daunting. That sounds daunting. Like it's one of those movies where literally the title of the movie does not pop up until the 25-minute mark. But man, the prologue itself is super interesting and really intense. So yeah, I don't know, Dragon. I honestly, for you, I would just because of the ending, I would probably veer into the not recommending it territory. But like, if people are looking for a good David Fincher-esque neo noir, like I'd very much recommend it. I believe Super Billy said he was a neo noir fan, so Super Billy, you'd get a kick out of this one. Check it out; it's on HBO Max. All right, next up.
All right, this is a documentary. It's called Crazy, Not Insane. So this is an Alex Gibney documentary. This guy's like HBO's documentary specialist. He's like the closer as far as the HBO documentary filmmakers go. Like he did the Sinatra documentary, which I really liked. He did the Armstrong Lie. Not that these are all HBO documentaries, but did the Armstrong Lie.
Armstrong Lie was really good.
I know. I really love the Armstrong Lie. It's cool. Steve Jobs, The Man in the Machine. That was him too. This guy's good.
Really good too.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's the specialist. So Crazy Not Insane. This follows the exploits of a really interesting. Originally, this was supposed to be like a mini series to purely a Bundy documentary to like the more interesting kind of breakdown of this doctors. You have this psychiatrist. You have Dr. Dorothy Lewis. Dr. Dorothy Lewis, who essentially, she was a big pioneer for the time. She championed the other factors that led to crimes. That were scoffed at by the system, saying like, "Oh, like multiple personalities. What are you, nuts? That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
It's not a thing."
That was pretty much like that was the mindset back then. She was the lady who, like, when you call an expert to the stand, she would say, "Well, no, he suffered. These are the mitigating factors at play. He suffers from." Multiple personality syndrome, or now DID, if you will. But it's kind of like that was what she did at the time. She was the champion for that, and we kind of look at her as kind of like. Basically, we don't. I love this. We build the Bundy. Like Bundy, she's really well known for that, but we don't make the whole documentary about that, which is quite refreshing given how much the Bundy documentaries have been made in the last couple of years.
I am very much like over him. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Even what we do get with Bundy here in like the third act, or at least like a part of the third act. It's stuff you never hear about. It's like talking about his parentage and everything, which he's very much kind of steered people away from, which is really interesting. Like what makes Ted Bundy and his parentage, which is kind of like, again, looking into the mitigating factors. I think this one's really interesting. I think HBO has yet again done a really great job with their documentary work. It's presented with top-notch footage. It has great animation, which is based off kind of this art style she does, which is kind of like when she draws in her off time, she has like kind of like a sketchy black and white kind of charcoal style, which is nice. It has a very, very effective ending. Yeah, it was good. I really like it. There's a lot of really informative little facts in there. Like Robert De Niro contacted her to research for Cape Fear.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. A ghost story. Yeah, Dragon, it's interesting. This is a movie, like, I remember being interested in it, but also kind of like when I heard the premise, I was like, ooh, I don't know. It could go either way. Like, it could either be really interesting or really pretentious.
I remember you being interested in this one.
Yeah, it's a David Lowery movie.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Affleck plays a man who gets killed in a car accident almost immediately, like after the first scene of the movie. And Dragon, I swear to God, the rest of the movie is practically silent.
Really?
It's Casey Affleck. It's actually Casey Affleck under the cloth. It's Casey Affleck. You've seen the trailer, right?
Well, no, I've seen the poster.
Okay, so you know what the ghost looks like?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that ghost in the house.
So he actually looks like that in the movie.
He actually looks like that through the whole movie. No, you laugh. That's where I was like, okay, this could either be really good or really pretentious. It's really good.
Okay.
honestly, like, this is one of the best examinations of time. Like, honestly, this, it might be even, I don't know. I don't know what I like better. Uh, it's tough between this and the Green Knight. It is, because like I feel like the Green Knight has higher highs and it's got more amazing visuals, but this is like such an interesting, consistent story. So the idea, Dragon, is that the movie has a very loose narrative structure to it, where Casey Affleck in this, in this ghost getup is literally haunting this house, and you see it very much in a fly on the wall kind of style from his perspective. Like, it's not silent in the fact that like you'll hear conversations going on and stuff like that. But it is silent in the fact that like obviously no one interacts with Casey Affleck, no one sees him, so it's like you've got a whole movie where your protagonist says nothing. You don't see his face. And eventually the movie really gets crazy with the passage of time. Because he stays in this house for, it seems like, decades. And the passage of time is really, really interesting and really well handled. There's a ghost next door that they do some interesting stuff with. And then at a certain point, the house that he's in gets demolished. And all I can say after that, Dragon, is the movie gets super high concept in a really, really interesting way. That's all I'll say about it. I would honestly check it out, Dragon. If the premise intrigues you, I think you might get something out of it. It's a very art house movie, but it's not as pretentious as you think it would be. All right. Okay, moving on.
Okay, The Christmas Club.
The Christmas, that sounds delightful.
So of course,
with
Christmas
someone in a little bit of a Christmas in July mood.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, I have a 4th of July pick, and I have a Christmas in July pick.
Ah, nice.
Okay, so the Christmas in July pick. So this is a Hallmark movie, not too complicated. For Christmas in July, Elizabeth Mitchell's in this.
Oh, okay.
And
can't go wrong there, except in the case with that stupid frickin' movie where she has such a thankless role. I forget what the name of that movie is.
Well, this is the polar opposite of that, my friend, because Elizabeth Mitchell is the reason to watch this movie. She is an utter delight. It's a charm fest for days.
She's an utter delight 99% of the time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this movie showcases that. Like, she's the draw here, man. She's the way Hallmark works. They always get one big star to draw people in. She's the big star to draw people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the premise of this movie is insanely charming. You'd love it. Okay.
Oh God. Okay. Tell me.
So this is a sweet romance with some seasonal magic. Essentially, you got two nice folks, Elizabeth Mitchell being one of them, the other one being kind of a Diet Coke Timothy Oliphant type. Okay.
Okay.
So these two,
Timothy Oliphant. All right.
Two nice folks. Like, he's just walking by on his phone, and she's about to go to a toy store, I think. And essentially, so they're about to walk into the store, and this little old lady is about to walk into the store to buy some for her grandson or her grandchildren for Christmas, and she has like $80 in 20s. Okay. Big magical little Christmas wind blows. Money goes flying. So they help the old woman. They both collectively have $40. They basically like, well, look for your money. They go outside. They figure, what are we going to do? Like, oh, I got $40. You got 40. So let's give the old woman, and it's all in 20s. She'll never know the difference. They give her the $80 as like a nice little gesture of goodwill. And basically she says, oh, you two like make such a cute couple, essentially. So essentially the whole thing is kind of like, oh, these two kind of keep running into each other through the course of the movie. But here's the charm factor. The $20 that got blown by the wind, it keeps reappearing in the movies. Like, oh yeah, I was walking down 7th Street, and I found this $20 bill. And they're like, people are paying it forward with seasonal cheer all through the movie. And these two crazy kids
forward without a depressing stabbing at the end.
Yes, Tiki.
Okay. I'm sorry, I still can't get over that. Like, I saw that movie when I was in elementary school, for fuck's sake.
But seriously, it's really just like a lot of seasonal kind of niceties and pleasantries of like, hey, I found this $20. Like, basically they keep over.
Sounds nice. Yeah,
they keep like a over good
version of Pay It Forward, essentially.
Like, Mitchell's like a ballet teacher, and Tiki. Yeah. There's a scene. One thing. Okay. There's a cookie scene where they're making cookies.
Oh God.
And it's the most adorable thing
I love how much
ever.
you hype that up. You hype that up like it's an endgame moment.
But you have Tiki, seriously though, it's the fact that like, he's staying to make the cookies and he's being all charming and everything. But it's the fact there's this like tradition of Elizabeth Mitchell as a girl. She would always eat like oh man, this cookie's all lopsided when they're icing the cookies, and she'll eat the cookies early when she's not supposed to, and then they all keep doing it. Even her mother who's making the cookies and complains about it. Like it's delightful.
Oh dear.
Seriously, it's really nice.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So, oh God, fucking A. Dragon, I watched this movie essentially, Identity Thief, essentially just as a filler. Like, I saw it on HBO, and I was like, well, you know what? I haven't seen it yet. I remember liking the other Todd Haynes movie that wasn't The Hangover and wasn't Joker, which is Due Date with Galifianakis and Downey Jr. Did you ever see that?
Regrettably, yes, I have seen that movie. Yes.
I liked it.
I liked
it. This is not as good. I don't know, man. Like,
when I saw this, I was in disbelief. Like, oh no, he didn't.
What do you even want me to say about this one, man? I like Todd Haynes. Jesus Christ, how did that man get nominated for Best Director?
He did a really good job on Joker.
Yeah, he did a really good job ripping off Scorsese. Really great job.
It was nice, though. It looked really
inspirational work. Inspirational work, taking like plot by plot two Scorsese movies and just dumping them into one.
Send up to the Scorsese movies.
All right. Anyways, I don't want to get into another Joker argument.
Oh God. Anyway. All I know is Melissa McCarthy doesn't get hit enough for it to take. That's all I know about that.
Fair enough. We can move on.
It's like hey, she's going to keep getting away with doing terrible things.
Literal filler. Dragon, you know what I was hoping for with this, Dragon? I was hoping for like a comfort food comedy, and I mean, needless to say, it's not. I don't know why I was expecting that from a Todd Haynes movie.
I don't know why. Every time I see this movie, I get angry. I'm not kidding. Every time I see this, I just real. This is like every time I have like a negative feeling about Melissa McCarthy, it's this movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yep, it's always Identity Thief and Tammy. Those are the movies.
Right. Tammy to me is a lot more offensive.
That's what I'm saying. But this one has to pose. It's like, no, don't drag down that poor.
That poor Jason Bateman.
That poor Jason Bateman. No. Anyway, right. So God Bless America. This is a movie I want to recommend to you, but I don't know if it's too cynical for your taste. I don't know. So this is a Bobcat Goldthwait black comedy satire on post 9/11 America. This was the 4th of July pick, if you haven't guessed. So. Look, just long story short, Bobcat Goldthwait makes a heck of a movie. He really does. He makes a strong movie when he doesn't go too out there with some of his film premises. It's basically kind of like an honest and accurate, kind of dark satire on our culture, like how people are, media obsessed. They're selfish, rude. And that sort of no one talks to each other anymore, that sort of thing. And basically, it's kind of like the movie Super meets Natural Born Killers, where you have this nice guy, Joel Murray, plays the lead. He's great in it. Bill Murray's brother, loved him in Mad Men. He just kind of snaps one day, and he goes to kill a reality star, and then he kind of meets this little girl, this teen girl, and they kind of become like she becomes a sidekick again, a little bit like Super on this crusade to just kind of kill all the rude monsters making the world a miserable place. I'm talking like the hateful anchors on the news and everything, that sort of thing. It's the irony of killers with a point that you can kind of get behind, but they are murdering people, which is kind of defeating their own point of a nicer world to live in. So it's a really interesting, weird movie. It's quite interesting. I think you'd like it, but it starts off really, really dark. So beware of that. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh God!
Another winner in your book,
all
Tiki.
Right. Yeah, The Little Cars in the Great Race.
Oh God!
Dragon, in the words of that one SpongeBob fish with the bike and the lollipop, I can explain.
That's a great gag.
Okay, so this was strictly for an armchair Imagineering project, actually.
Sure, it
I'm in a
was.
competition where we have these rounds called lemon rounds, where the idea is to take the prompt and make the worst possible project out of it. And so essentially the prompt was to redo Test Track. Well, Dragon, I figured, you know what? Like, I first landed on, like, what if they just lazily put cars into Test Track? That would be kind of bad. But then I went a step further and I kind of, like, incorporated a kind of a what if scenario of, like, okay, like, what if John Lasseter took, like, somehow had a loophole where he got the rights to the Cars franchise back, and he used the Cars franchise characters to jumpstart his new animation studio. And so Disney needed to fill up all the theme park representation from Cars with another cartoon car franchise. Enter the Little Cars. I mean, like, I don't even need to tell you that the movie's bad. Obviously, it's bad. Obviously, it's terrible. It's pretty much unwatchable. Pretty much the only reason I watched it at all was to just get some plot points and characters that I could use for my Test Track ride. But, you know, it's something for the list. So I technically did watch it this month. Like, it was exactly what I was expecting it to be, and I will say definitively, it's not even a so bad it's good bad. Old is way more of a fun so bad it's good bad than this. But yeah, you know, it's something for the list at the very least. I literally only watched it for homework purposes.
Sure, I believe that. Yeah. Yeah, that's not the most made up story I've ever heard.
I don't know how much more I can. I literally went beat by beat.
No, I'm kidding.
I think about.
No, I'm kidding. I know. Dick. I'm just saying. It sounds like you told this to any other person. I think they think, well, what the heck is he talking about? Who would do this sort of thing? Okay, this next one's really good, and I highly recommend this one to you. If I've recommended anything else to you,
okay,
Awakenings. Right, Awakenings. This was not for it's never around when I needed it. Okay, I've been aching to watch Awakenings. I was finally able to watch this. It's on Amazon currently. This is an excellent Penny Marshall film. She has a trifecta in her film catalog, Tiki. It's Big, Awakenings, and A League of Their Own. 3 excellent films. Can't miss with any one of them. This is based on a true phenomenal event that happened where you have essentially, Dr. Sayer, who that's kind of the name we went with the movie. Robin Williams playing the doctor here. One of the original bearded Robin Williams roles, by the way. Where basically he takes a job in the catatonics ward of a hospital for research, and he uses this new wonder drug, and this is the real life kind of fact here, L-Dopa, which basically, I know it's a weird name, but that's what it was, L-Dopa. It woke up the catatonics, so that basically people completely immobile, catatonia works, wakes up the catatonics for the summer of 1969. For a summer, all the catatonics were walking and able to communicate, only for a summer. This actually happened. And it's just so the main test subject is Robert De Niro, who plays basically a catatonic who then regains again. He's like it's like a Flowers for Algernon situation. He's the Charlie of the role. It's pretty much he develops a friendship with Robin Williams. This is a beautiful film. Robin Williams' humanity as this, he basically is like a clinical doctor who operated with dead subjects.
90s, late 90s, like that era, like Patch Adams era.
I'm pretty sure it was pre-Patch Adams. It was either late 80s. It was kind of in the late 80s, early 90s period. Yeah, this movie is ridiculously good. One of the best Robin Williams films. One of his best.
About it, man.
One of his best films easily. It's about living life to the fullest, man. It's the relationship between Sawyer and Leonard is it's so endearing. It's like 20 cc's of the feels all throughout this movie, man. Julie Kravner. So I keep saying Nancy. Julie Kravner, the voice of Marge Simpson. She's in this movie. She gives a wonderfully understated and sweet performance. It's just
nice.
This is like
brilliant, man. It's always nice to see her pop up. Of all things, The Lion King 1.5 is another non-Marge Simpson thing. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I like her in that too. This is like a
Uh-huh.
genuine, like my God, it's so understated but so really
Nice,
nice what
nice.
she does. And basically, this is like the more on the, you know, how everyone gripes about Patch Adams saying it's really off the not on the money with how it really was.
Oh God, yes.
This is like a more on the money Patch Adams, only it's not a
Patch
comedy.
Adams makes me almost as angry as Forrest Gump does.
So if Patch Adams wasn't if Patch Adams was a more straightforward genre with an endearing Robin Williams performance, it would be this. This is like the legit version of Patch Adams.
Cool.
It's really good. I can't recommend this any more highly to you. If you like Robin
Okay,
Williams, you
okay,
gotta watch this.
I got it. I got it, Dragon.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. So yeah, Dragon, this was definitely a comfort food watch, and I got pretty much what I wanted out of it. I did. It was nice. I got to admit, my dad was a huge Davy Crockett fanboy, Dragon. He very much grew up in the era, you know, the coonskin cap and everything. He was all over it as a kid. So, you know, I figured like the one thing I do share with my dad as far as like the growing up memories go, I told you this recently. He was also a big time Captain America fan. It was that Johnny Quest of all things was the other one. That was the other like the big thing is in his trifecta. But that Johnny Quest and then Davy Crockett. Look at me, I'm Davy Crockett. Anyway, sorry, Simpsons joke. Um, so Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. It's not the original one. It's a sequel. But it has Mike Fink in it, and Mike Fink is such a delightful character. Dragon. He is so over the top and very much just reminiscent of like a cuddly kind of like Baloo type. Like, and he's almost kind of like Baloo if Baloo had like a mean streak to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like if Phil Harris played a rival, like this would be kind of what it would be like. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But I like this just because it's so casual and laid back, and it made for a nice afternoon watch on a day where I was kind of stressed out. So it's nothing spectacular at all, but Disney Plus is always nice to I still kind of like to to go in and do my Tales from the Backlog. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that was a failed experiment. Yeah.
Oh, it was. But Dragon, I would say Davy Crockett and the River Pirates is, it's pretty much an example of like a successful Tales from the Backlog. Like, it's nothing special, but I liked it a lot. It very much, Dragon, it cheered me up on a day where I needed cheering up. I was like, this kind of like scratched that comfortable old school vintage Disney itch. I enjoyed it a lot for what it was. All right,
cool. Okay, last one for
Bring
me.
it home, Dragon. Bring it home.
All right, Silverado. I was watching Dave, which you know how much I love that movie, Dave. Yeah, so I was watching Dave for the 4th of July, and Kevin Kline's in that movie. It was on a Kevin Kline kick, so I found this movie. And where have I been that I've not seen this wonderful 80s Western? It's so good. This is like the Western, Tiki. It's like the most awesome Western I've ever seen. This is like
I've heard a lot about it. It's definitely like, I'm not a big Western guy. I've seen a share of them.
I mean, outside of the Eastwood Fair, Tiki, this is like the Western to watch, man. It's like, this is a powerhouse lineup of Cowboys. Cowboys you'd love, okay? You got Kevin Kline. You got Scott Glenn. That's Scott Glenn, man.
Ooh.
Okay, so here's your lines. 4 people. Okay, it's Kevin Kline. Okay. It's Scott Glenn, Kevin Costner, and Danny Glover. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And those are just your 4 heroes. The
That's
whole
like
cast.
Mount Rushmore right there.
It's an excellent Mount Rushmore 4, and that's the great thing in the movie. It's 4 interesting, lovable characters, very diverse in kind of the classic Western situations. Mm-hmm. Your bad guy, you have 2 sheriffs, because it's basically 2 towns. You have Silverado and you have Turley. You basically we're traveling from point A to Silverado. That's essentially the plot of the movie. So Brian Dennehy, who's now passed, I believe, this year, if not last year, the great Brian Dennehy, he plays the bad sheriff, and he's great because he's lovable. He's really charming, but he's also really evil and corrupt. And on the other hand, you have the good sheriff. You have John Cleese playing the good sheriff, and he's great in this.
Nice.
And Jeff Goldblum plays a gambler. So yeah. But yeah, so Lawrence, the reason this is so good, the Kaz did this, man. Lawrence Kasdan, the man who brought us Raiders of the Lost Ark and Empire Strikes Back. Lawrence Kasdan, I believe he directed and
kind of has his fingerprints on it.
Exactly. This is Kaz to the max,
so
man.
Kind of feel like help me out here. So basically what I'm picturing I'm kind of picturing like how Indiana Jones was sort of like a revival of the serial adventure. This is kind of like an Indiana Jonesification of the Western.
I mean, the way it opens is very Indiana Jones-like. Basically, the movie opened very simply. Scott Glenn, he wakes up and he kills 3 men for breakfast. Which is awesome, and something we absolutely buy Scott Glenn would do. Now, the reason you haven't heard about it, the reason we haven't really heard about this, sadly, this film, what it was up against at the time, is the reason we've never heard of this. You know what this movie was up against when it was released?
Unforgiven?
No.
What?
Well, I don't think it was, but Back to the Future.
Oh man,
came out in '85.
I just guess Unforgiven because that's another like iconic Western of a similar time period.
I'm just saying, it's like you released the first Back to the Future, everyone's going to see that. Like there might be a week difference, but it was like the week before, like that Back to the Future comes out, everyone's still seeing.
I've heard the name Silverado around, but yeah, I mean, you've definitely piqued my curiosity on it, Dragon.
I mean, that's the thing, Tiki. Everyone's heard of Silverado, but no one's ever really
right.
No one's really checking. I had to watch it with a whole bunch of commercials, but it was worth it. It was a great movie.
That's annoying.
I know, but it was excellent.
Okay, Dragon. So, really quick, best and worst. On my end, it's pretty damn easy. Best Green Knight. Like I said, Dragon, you'd hate this film. It's very much a Lighthouse situation where, like, it's my very specific sensibilities that do not align with your specific sensibilities, but for me it absolutely is an art house masterpiece. Like I was floored by it. One thing I will say about the Green Knight, like this is pretty much my my quote on the DVD cover. All right, the Green Knight has easily the most immersive fantasy world building since Lord of the Rings, like bar none, not even close.
That's what
Best
I hear.
fantasy world since Lord of the Rings on screen.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
At worst, fucking take a wild guess.
Space Jam.
No, fuck no.
Dragon,
Space Jam is a masterpiece compared to Identity Thief.
Well, what about the little cars?
I barely count the little cars. The little cars doesn't even feel like a real movie, and I just did that for homework. So, you know what? Like, Identity Thief, because I actually sat down to watch it as a movie and not just as homework, like, that's going to go to my worst. All right.
Yeah, actually, I jumped the gun because the worst on mine is Space Jam just by process of elimination. I had a really good month on this one, actually.
It sounds like you did, yeah.
I mean, it was basically, I think Space Jam is easily, that's just by proxy. It's between Space Jam and No Sudden Moves. There's only one plot point.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty glowing on all the other ones.
Yeah, best, I mean, of the bunch, it has to be Awakenings. Awakenings just spoke to me, and Awakenings just knocked my socks off, so yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. Well,
Banner.
We've waxed on. What?
Banner.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
All right. We've waxed on long enough, and it's time to put the pen down. Until next time, when we return with another fitting chapter in our
Memoirs, because you're old.
Hey Jay, you want to go see the new M. Night Shyamalan movie? Oh.